Hi, welcome to City Country 6 Podcast. This is where you get to hear inside conversations between city and country about life, kids, womanhood, culture, black southern things. Eavesdrop in on our phone conversations to laugh, cry, amen, disagree, and agree with your bi-weekly dose of what did I just listen to? Let's listen in on this week's most recent phone call of differences.
Hello.
Hey, girl.
How are you?
I'm as happy. I'm as happy as Snoop Dogg in a closet full of Mary Jane.
Oh. Are you on the Mary Jane?
I don't know Mary or Jane.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good though that happened. That's extremely happy. I've never known a joy like that.
I just imagine that is how
it feels.
It feels, yeah.
Okay.
Because I don't know. I mean, it's been a rough 2 weeks, but at the same time, I'm just happy. Well,
that's good.
You know, you got to find that little joy in stuff, I guess. Yeah, and stuff. So, are you all right?
I am happy because I have been very, very efficient today.
It's Sunday, though. It's the day of the Lord's rest. Or for some people.
It is. But, you know, I've scoured the Bible from Genesis to Revelations, and I don't think there are any applicable scriptures to resting as it relates to being a mom.
No,
because if there were, I would cash in on those. Like, no.
The Bible says
on the seventh day he rested, and so therefore I'm not getting up making any cheesy noodles today.
Okay.
Because I am resting.
All right. But the children, we must, because it does say in the Bible that the mothers must take care of the children as far, because, you know, what is it? They're called blessed by their children. So, I mean, you got to take care of your kids and stuff, and you just let them be hungry.
Yeah, I think you have to answer to him, to the Lord and the high authority of the land, which is called Child Protective Services. And I don't think it's Sabbath is a reason for not feeding your children.
Okay. Even though they could go without a meal. I'm not saying our children are fat. I'm just saying that they have not missed a meal.
Yeah, but missing one meal won't kill them. I mean, they could be fasting.
Okay, amen.
Getting a little closer to the Lord. But the deacon told his dad. He didn't tell me, but the deacon told his dad last night that he wanted some pineapples.
Pineapples.
Because and everything my child asked for, we did not have. Well, do we have some oranges? No, we don't have any oranges. Oh, do we have some apples? Nah, no apples. But do we have some grapes? And I was like, yeah, we have some grapes, but you're not going to get any of those because those are mine. So do we have any peaches? I have one peach left. I'll make you some peach fries. And then when the peach fries were gone, well, do we have any pineapples? Sorry, don't have any.
Why don't you share your food with your child?
Not my grapes.
Why not?
Those are sacred mommy snacks. And not that I don't let him eat grapes. He eats grapes. But I didn't have, okay, this is going to sound really bad.
Yeah, it is, because I'm sitting there going, they're just grapes. What's the problem? I mean, geez.
Well, first of all, again, I'll put it this way. Chocolate is to a lot of American women as grapes are to me.
Oh, okay.
I'm not letting go of my grapes. I don't eat chocolate. I
actually can understand. I can accept that.
So any other time you had access to some grapes, I might have given you some. Not right now. No.
So have you ever had frozen grapes?
Yes.
Okay. I've never tried it.
They're a little weird though. They're weird.
My mom's like, you know, you come in from the garden, just pop you in your mouth. I'm like, just I'll just chew on ice chips if that's what I want. Why do I want frozen grapes?
Yeah, I don't know about that. I mean, I'll tell you, like I said, I've tried them, but it's because of the texture. When you put them in your mouth, they're
The
gonna
crunchy.
melt in layers. Well, I don't chew crunchy things, so it's just gonna sit in my mouth, and the skin comes off first, and then all of a sudden it's mush. It's no, I don't chew them. So I tried them once, and I was like, nah, this is not for me.
No,
It
not for
wasn't my
you.
ministry.
Oh,
No.
okay. Speaking of food ministry, because we can't go without one rabbit trail down food. I this last night was my first night trying a waffle or a brownie waffle. First time ever. I've seen it, but I've never had it. And that is my new obsession with a brownie is a brownie waffle with vegan ice cream.
Was the
Uh,
brownie vegan?
no, of course not.
So then why would you eat a vegan ice cream with the non-vegan brownie?
Because I can't have ice cream. I can't have just normal ice cream. So I have to have vegan or plant-based ice cream. Um, that's just my diet, the way my gut is set up, the way it cashes its checks and makes
So
deposits.
you have to have non-dairy.
Yes. I can't
Okay,
have
because
whole milk.
it's still eggs and ice cream too. So that's why I was trying to figure that part out because it's eggs in the brownie.
Yeah, I can, but see, that's the thing. Like I can have, and I don't even understand why eggs are considered dairy, honestly. But besides the point.
No, for allergy purposes, it's not. I was just trying to figure out when you said vegan, I'm thinking, well, it's eggs and ice cream. I mean, it's eggs in the brownie. So she still got, but you're not trying to avoid eggs. You're just trying to
No,
avoid
it's
dairy.
just the dairy part. Yeah, that's what I say. That's why I
But
said
it's
plant
dairy and
based.
chocolate.
Okay, look, that's fine. That doesn't when I deposit the food into my stomach, the only thing that it rejects is milk. That is it. Whole milk, any type of cow's product that is coming straight from the udder, pasteurized, not
Oh
cheese,
wow. Okay.
not
Okay. Not
cheese,
udders.
this straight udders, not cheese, not like soft. I can't do certain soft cheeses either, but just
Oh.
ice cream, like ice cream, frozen yogurt. I can't do frozen yogurt. So I can't do yogurt, but I can still do some cheese. I can do cheeses. I can do eggs. I can do butter. I can do just
Oh
about
wow.
anything else. But that is the only, and it's probably that protein that's in there that just causes, because I'm not 100% lactose intolerant. I just can't have dairy ice
The
cream.
casein. Yes, the cat. It may be the casein instead of the
Yeah,
lactose.
it may be
Okay.
because
Well, I'm
and
happy
I
you
also
found a new
can't have.
treat.
So well, I've been having like plant-based ice cream for a while now, when I want it. And I was upset that I get upset when I go places and I want dessert because I want dessert when I go out places. And like I can even eat cheesecake, which is crazy. I can have that, but I can't have ice cream. Anyways, and when she told me that it was just this amazing brand, I was like, man, I just want it just because one, it's a waffle. I like waffles. Two, it's a brownie. And of course, it had caramel and chocolate and toffee bits. And I'm just like, yes. But the ice cream. And anyways, it upset me. So I brought some home so that I can have it with my my plant-based ice cream.
Whoop, whoop.
Yep. So that was something that was very interesting. But
I'm happy you like. I mean, you found something that you can have in that. You know how like you can have an appetite for something, and then you try something that you think is going to satisfy it, and it doesn't.
yeah. Yeah.
Excuse me. It's like a womp 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 moment,
Very
and so
just
happy that
yeah.
yours was satisfied. That's
Oh
amazing.
yeah, because all I needed was that one little corner. I didn't even need a whole daggum waffle. I just needed that one because it was a Belgian waffle. So them jokers was
So
huge.
then you eat the whole thing.
I could have, but I didn't want to. I wanted
Oh,
to save some for later because I wanted to know what it tastes like with ice cream. Because I understand what it tastes like without it, but now I gotta have. So anyways, so yeah. So I was happy about that. And then something else made me happy too. Um, and this has nothing to do with food, but so
Okay, we all have this thing that, hold on, let me collect my thoughts. I'm horrible at telling stories. Hobbies. There we go. I'm following the crumbs. Hobbies. Everybody has a hobby. I have found an obsession, and I'm going to be 100% honest with you. This obsession is probably a problem. And my name is Country Chick, and I have a problem, and it's called bullet journaling. I have
Oh my
been
gosh.
I have been bullet journaling without knowing I've been bullet journaling for years. I didn't know it was called that. I like journaling. I like the art of handwriting. I like the art of just sitting doodling, creating stuff on paper. Best thing in the world for me to do is to sit down and just draw. And I could do it for hours. Doesn't bother me at all. I can't draw for beans now. I can't do that. But I can come up with a nice organized spread, and it'd be colorful, and it could be rainbow colored, like when the CEO was doing virtual learning. Yes, I had it organized from 8 a.m. to like 2, 3 o'clock. It was like, all the colors of the rainbow. I had it all right down, what she had to do and everything. It was crazy. My siblings thought I was nuts because it's like, that looks like a lot. It is a lot, but it makes sense to me because one is color coordinated. And then on top of all that, certain colors were used for certain things. And like, how do you keep up with that? I just do. So anyways, I have found a community of people is what I'm getting at. And that is my problem. So now instead of me scrolling the interwebs, just looking at the craziest things that have happened in the world, now I'm scrolling through the interwebs, looking at new stickers, new layouts, how to organize this, how to organize that, different ways people organize. Like some people, like it's a whole ordeal. Like it's a huge community, and I have found my people, and I'm happy because I didn't know that this was a thing. That it's almost like when you finally come to the realization that you have a hobby, you just didn't know what it was. You just like to do this certain thing. So yeah, so I like to sit down and draw out like my whole entire calendar or weekly, they call them spreads, weekly spreads and calendar spreads, to-do lists, trackers, all that kind of stuff. And I just like to sit there and color and doodle and add stickers and little notes and journal. I'm gonna be one of those people. Instead of having a bunch of the CFO said, instead of having a bunch of cats, I'm gonna have a bunch of journals and stickers and washi tapes and pens and markers and crayons.
This is very interesting.
It is so much fun. I'm just happy that it's an expensive hobby. Well, it can be an expensive hobby. It does not have to be an expensive hobby because you can get away with a lot with Crayola and a couple of color pencils and some Sharpies. Like you can get away with a lot with that. But it's just the fact that it's a hobby, and it's one of those things. I finally sat back and I like look back at because I have a nice thick little a dot grid journal that I have been doing this in since November of 2020. I just didn't know that's what it was called. I had no idea that's what it was called. And I have older planners where I've done this kind of stuff, like when I was in high school and college. I thought it was just, hey, you're planning. You have a planner and you write stuff down. Like, no, I would write down, how much water I drank, how many steps I took, what meals I had, or recap the day, or what you have to do, like all that kind of stuff. Yeah. Oh, yeah. And I find pleasure in it. It's so relaxing to just sit down and I don't know. So, yeah, I'm just happy to be like, hey, I can immerse myself in this, and it's not crazy. It might be crazy to you, but it ain't crazy to me. And it's not crazy to a whole bunch of other people because there's a 1,001 million people, and I know that's not a number, but that do this, and they have a whole community of people that do this, and I'm just like, wow. Okay.
I mean, I don't think it's crazy at all. We like what we like, and I'm happy you found the title to what you've been doing. So you haven't really found the actual hobby because you just gave it a name. And with finding the name, the beautiful things, like you said, like you found your own community now that you can name it.
Yeah.
But No, I just don't. I mean, that's just not anything I would do for fun. But I'm not knocking it either.
I find it interesting that you have so much stuff to do, yet you don't plan or put anything like mentally, yes, but like to actually physically like put it all down and be like, okay, this is what is, and I got to do all this stuff. It's more like, excuse me, it's more like, well, I forgot I had to do this today. And it's like, well, if you wrote it down, you remember. You're like, nah, I probably forgot where I put the paper. And I'm going, what? Like,
no, I haven't written down, but I don't draw pictures around it and put stickers on the paper either. Like, that's my thing. Like, I'm all about having a good task list, or a scope and sequence with projects and things like that. That helps me stay organized. I'm a very organized person for the most part. But yeah, because I have so many things to do, I'm not wasting time drawing pictures about it. Like, I need to cook dinner, but I'm not going to draw pictures of what I'm cooking. Like, I'm not going to draw the chicken leg and some green beans.
Well, I'm not doing that.
Just go cook the chicken and the green beans. We're not going to draw pictures about it. Like,
no, you don't do. Well, somebody might. I don't. Somebody might be doing that, but I don't. I am more of just give me, I don't know, just give me some time, give me a day, and then I can sit there and I'll doodle a little bit, but I don't like draw out every little aspect of what I'm doing. I don't do that part.
So what are you doodling?
Whatever I feel like. Well, like this one sticker company that I subscribe to for their monthly stuff, I go by whatever theme they send. So shout out to Hubman and Chub Girl. They're in Canada. And actually, I've been following them for probably like 5 or 6 years. I just didn't know that, it was a whole stationery thing. But I think they started their stationery business in like 2020. And yeah, so they draw out all the, or she draws out all the stickers and stuff, and they package them and, they send them off. And then you can draw, for me, I will draw like a backdrop to what the stickers are. Like, let's say, for instance, this month is, you know what? Let me go with last month, because I can't even say this month's theme. Last month was lemonade. So for me, I drew a bunch of lemon slices to go with the pictures of lemonade and lemon stands and all that kind of stuff that went with the stickers that was with that journal subscription or sticker subscription. And different companies do different things, and you could just draw with them. Like, I just got through looking at a lady drawing watermelon. Like, she just drew little triangles and little rectangles for the bottoms, dots for seeds, and she had a watermelon spread for her week. And I was like, interesting. Just something to doodle while you're planning or organizing your thoughts in your head.
Well, what does the watermelons and lemons and such have to do with planning out what you have to get done for them?
No, it just makes it very colorful. That's all. If you like colorful.
So that when you're checking off the things from your task list, it looks happy.
Mm-hmm. Brings you a little bit of joy if that's what you're into. Like, some people, they can't, it can be black and white, and that's fine. Like, there's some people that I follow, it's strictly black and white, it's no color. It's just strictly their handwriting, their to-do list, their tasks, and they have no doodles or anything like that. It's just, strategically placed. And that's part of the community. It could be just as simple as that, as it is as extravagant as drawing, or it's really close to scrapbooking too, which I don't understand scrapbooking. I don't understand tearing off pieces of paper and gluing them to other pieces of paper.
It's the same thing. Yeah, it's stickers. You just put the stickers. That's what I gotta do. Yeah, my decorations on my to-do list are the check marks in the boxes.
See, you're so black and white,
and that makes me so happy when I see everything checked off.
I'm happy to add, because see, me, I will add a sticker to a to-do list item or some mark out. That's my thing. But also, what I like to do is, because since I do like to write and I like the art of handwriting and just writing my thoughts down, or events and stuff like that, I like to go back and look and see what I've done or what I did do. So bullet journaling
Like Brett
allows me to do that.
Kavanaugh.
Sure, yeah. No. I just realized, wait a minute, who? No, not him. Gosh, no. I had to think about that. No.
I'm the person who likes to learn. There's a lesson in everything.
Mm-hmm.
And I really did appreciate when he was being he was going through his process to become a justice, when he shared that piece of evidence. Is, you know, he kind of used his calendar as a journal of sorts.
He did.
And I thought, how amazing is that to have a journal from 20 years ago? I mean, a calendar, and it kind of reminds you of things you did day to day throughout the year. That's kind of cool, actually, if you think about it, in its purest form.
Yes, okay, because I'm sitting there thinking, well, for him.
Yeah, no, not in that context. But I mean, just that's why I said in its purest form, that's actually a cool practice to have.
Yeah,
a very detailed planner, because it allows you to go back and say, what was I doing on such and such a date in 19 such and such, or 2000 such and such.
Yeah, that's another thing that I like to look at too, is just the fact that, and then you could just see where you've grown. For some people, like when I actually looked up like the history of bullet journaling, which it wasn't a name.
Oh gosh.
It just started like in 1993, I think is the year it started, because this one guy with ADD was already doing it. And I'm like, well, that's the case. There's a lot of people already doing it. He was the one that, like pushed it and like had, this whole like plan thought out of how to, set it up. And this is what you can do. Like, these are the options you can do. And to the point to where it is now, 30 years later, where it's an art and a form of therapy. So not only is it therapy for someone who needs to organize their thoughts, as far as either they need to go back and they need to, what it calls post-plan your day, where at the end of the day, you write down everything you did versus planning it and then marking everything off. Or, back up, the post-plan part where you go back through and then off to the side, you kind of journal how you felt. And that's like the mental health aspect of it, versus the planning it and then writing how you felt, which is another way of the mental health part. But for people who either have like bad memory or they just want to like decompress for the day, you got that. It's no different, honestly. I just thought of this, and this will help us get into the part 2. People who sit up in church and doodle while they write notes for church. It's something similar to that, because I used to do that in church too. I would just sit there and doodle little things that come to mind when the pastor would be speaking or screaming or preaching or teaching. And I would either doodle in my Bible or in my notebook, little notes, and it'd be the same thing, just like if you were taking notes in class, except for it just be a little more exaggerated as far as the doodles or the drawings are concerned. So it's something like that, and I enjoy it.
Well, I'm happy.
Oh,
I like to eat.
You do?
That makes me happy.
You love to eat. Which, speaking back on that one more time, I'm about to send your pastor over to your house and you just have him, because I done spent almost $400 on groceries, and this joker, no sooner we get in the house, everything we opened up, basically he was checking off what he was going to eat for the day. I said, dude, we are not going to eat all $400 worth of groceries before they come through the garage. That's not going to happen. Because this dude was like, I'm going to have Cheez-Its. I'm going to have a fruit bar. I'm going to have gummies. I'm going to have some more crack. Crack. Remember, it's cracker.
Got it. Crack. Want some of that? I thought about going back to Snoop and how happy you're happy as Snoop in a
closet full of Mary Jane. Anyways, he was at crackers, and what else was it? He saw chips. Wanted chips. And then, of course, he saw some Powerades. He was like, yeah, I'm gonna have me some juice. And I was like, dude,
Oh,
no,
yeah.
you're not. You're not eating all of
Now,
this
that
at
sounds
one
like
sitting.
some good eating to me.
Oh my gosh. So we've gotten him, trying to get him, because he just nibbles. He just and I was like, I know a house and someone who would love to have you.
Yes, he's welcome to nibble anytime over here.
And just what their kitchen is always open. It never closes.
Never around the clock.
It's 24 hours. What is it? It's a 24-hour Waffle House. You get anything
There
you
you
want
go.
any time of day.
And yes,
You want waffles
There you
at 10 p.m. You have you some waffles at 10. This boy
Let's go,
asked
so.
me for darn pancakes at noon. I looked at him. I said, no.
Why not?
I was not. No,
Why?
I just
But
wasn't.
why?
I just wasn't. I wasn't. No.
Well, pancakes taste delicious at other times other than the AM.
They do. But if I'm up and I've had time to cook them, that's fine. But at noon, I'm not. No. Lunch is more of a potluck. You find whatever's in that doggone kitchen, because dinner is right around the corner. But anyway,
See, to me, every meal is an event. Enjoy it.
I can't. I just cannot with you. With your
Hence, my meals I sent this week. Were you inspired?
No, I was very disturbed. That's why I asked you. I asked you, was this breakfast? You talking about some morning and send me a whole daggum stir fry. I'm going, was this breakfast?
Yep, it was. Veggie stir fry, brown rice, half a PB&J, delish. Until the jelly touched my vegetables, and then it's like that soy sauce and peanut butter. No, I didn't go.
Because I was trying to figure out why the jelly and the soy sauce didn't go together. Because it's sweet and salty.
No. Now, peanut butter with soy sauce, like in a intentional dish, like I love like to make a peanut sauce, like for a salad dressing, a peanut butter ginger sauce.
Okay.
Salad dressing really tastes good. And you put like some crushed crushed peanuts on your salad, and then put that dressing on. Oh my gosh, it's delicious. But the peanut butter, I did have a little bit of jelly on it, and then it touched my broccoli. No, that I had to throw that piece away. But other than that, it was delicious.
Sad. And then you had dog nose mushroom.
Dog nose mushrooms
in there. Every time I look at the mushroom, like they look like dog noses. That's what they look like.
No, they were. I think they were portobello.
The plain old normal everyday mushroom.
No, those are button mushrooms. The white ones. The white mushrooms are button mushrooms or white mushrooms. I had portobello mushrooms.
Cut them in half. They look like dog noses.
They're different types of mushrooms. Oyster mushrooms. I learned about another one. I want to try it. It's lobster mushrooms. I want to taste those.
I think I saw Tab cook with those. Aren't they?
Those are expensive, but yeah, if you can find them, they said Asian markets have them.
Yeah,
for a lot less than you would find them like at Whole Foods.
Yeah, because you replace that with your seafood, right? The lobster mushroom, or maybe that was a lion's mane mushroom. I think it was a lion mane mushroom.
Yep, she does it. Yeah, I've seen her.
That's what it was. It wasn't a lobster. I'm sorry, my bad. It wasn't lobster, but
it's lots of different types of mushrooms to explore in the world in the deep dark forest parts.
And guess what? We have plenty of them in our yard.
No, I don't think those are the ones you want. Those are the ones they probably had back in the day, the psychedelic. Those are the ones that our grandparents.
Well, my niece, she showed me today mushrooms that were growing in her yard. You know, they in the country, and she's like, I just want to eat one of them. I said, look, they eating all kinds of mushrooms at this day and age. I couldn't tell you whether or not you could eat that or not. Honestly, I mean, probably could at this point. I don't have a clue.
I'm not gonna take a chance.
I mean, it's a mushroom. They all fungus. I think one of the ones you're not supposed to touch is the one that can like explode or something like that, because it can get in your lungs and
oh gosh,
the spores can get in your lungs. Yeah, that's why I say don't touch them, because you don't know which one is the one that'll cause your lungs to mess up. So, but anyway, on to church between the ages of 10 and college.
Oh yeah, that was our topic. Okay, 10. Hold on, 10 to college. Okay.
Yeah, 10 to college. Not quite on our own, in our own mind, but enough on our own to know that we could see the difference
Oh
in between being a
gosh.
kid and I'm gonna let you go first while I sit here and think about my life choices.
Oh my gosh. I have so many amazing stories that I cannot share.
Amazing stories.
amazing, amazing stories that I can never share. But let's see. My experiences.
Why?
10
It's
years
because too
old.
many people would know.
Yeah.
Mm.
And it would be embarrassing for the ones that I would share about. I'm telling you, I was a church kid. So, like, literally, I was in church at least 5 days a week growing up. So, as a kid, you just kind of you're archiving all of these
Yeah.
cool experiences. So, yeah. Let me see. 10 years old to maybe 13, 14. It was pretty average for, and when I say average for an African American Southern kid. Lots of church, every program for the holidays, you had to say a speech,
Mm-hmm.
you had to dance, and you had to sing.
Ooh, them that was like, what was they
So
called? Praise dance.
yeah, liturgical or liturgical, either way. Yeah, we had to do that. Let me see, and the singing. So you had to be in the choir, the youth choir.
Yes.
And then when I was around 10 or 11, the church we were going to had a really big youth choir. The youth choir was actually bigger than the adult choir. So
Normally it
when
is.
no, like substantially larger.
I was like, every choir I've been in,
So
the youth choir has been larger.
no, well, not at every church I've been to. Just depends. I've
I'm
been
saying
to some
everyone
churches that
I've been to, it was
okay. I was gonna say I've been to churches where there was no youth choir at all because it just wasn't that many young people. But
Yeah.
anyway, our youth choir was so large and so good that when the pastor would travel like to visiting churches, like to speak,
Mm-hmm.
the pastor would take the youth choir instead of the adult choir. Let's see. So that was me. Like I just remember that in Vacation Bible School. Oh my gosh, it's nothing like an amazing Vacation Bible School experience. And it wasn't until literally 2 years ago that I found out that Black people do Vacation Bible School differently than white people. I didn't know that they have Vacation Bible School in the daytime. And it's like all day. It's like summer camp for 5 days straight.
I thought all Vacation Bible School, minus the select few, was in the evening. Like,
no,
I knew there was a few churches that did it like daytime, but not like, I don't know. Hold on. Maybe I'm confused. Are you thinking most Black churches had Vacation Bible School at night?
yes.
Okay. Yeah, I thought
In the city they did.
I
don't know how
all
it is
of
in the
them,
country.
white and Black, did them at night. That's what I thought.
No. It's like they do theirs during the day. It's like a summer camp deal. So like it might be from like 9 to noon or 9 to 1.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like a summer camp. They feed lunch, they feed breakfast, they have activities. And they might even like some go longer. Some might be from 9 to 2 or something like that. But yeah. And so what people do is they kind of use it as a summer camp for their kids. And so they just rotate from church to church. Like this week you're at church A, next week you're at church B. And that literally fills up their summer. Whereas
still come out acting like heathens.
Hey, well, when you get kids together, that's what you're gonna get. But so we grew up obviously going to Vacation Bible School in the evenings for about 2 hours. And we would still go to other people's churches. Like if you have a friend who invited you to Vacation Bible School, you would go, but it was still like from 6 to 8 because our parents had to go to work.
Exactly.
And
yeah.
so, which not to say that our counterparts, they don't want to work. It was more like, and I have people in my life who work those places and they just take off. Like they use their vacation for that.
I did that.
So, no, I'm not. I'm not taking off a week of work to spend with other people's kids. Like that's not vacation.
Oh
for me.
no, I don't spend the whole
But
no, but I did.
to each his own. So I enjoyed that, and at the churches I would go to growing up, we would always have vacation Bible school Monday through Friday, and Saturday was a trip.
Oh wow,
So
never heard of
that would be
that.
so much fun that Saturday after vacation Bible school to load up on the buses. Like we would have charter buses and go places. So it might be, I mean, it wasn't anywhere far, but it may just be like, it'll still be somewhere in the Southeast. So you might go to Tennessee, you might go to Georgia,
That's
or
still
Florida.
far. Like that's a
Yeah, it's
luxury
fun.
deal for a day.
Well, you had to come to vacation Bible school every day.
But still,
So you can't not go and then show up for the trip. Like you had to attend, I think at least 4 out of the 5 days in order to earn the right to go on the trip. But the trip was free.
Yeah, but still, like you got to be up there, the butt crack of dawn, and then you got to go to wherever for 4 hours.
But it was fun because guess what? You're gonna go with all your friends you made in vacation Bible school.
I guess I've never heard of going on no trip afterwards. Wow.
What?
No, not what again. Country. Look, I didn't have vacation Bible school for real that I remember until my late teens. And by then it wasn't even for me. Yeah, it wasn't, it wasn't even for me. I was teaching.
Working.
Yeah. So I, and that was not until we got into a different church, and it wasn't even, then I do not recall a lot of Black churches having vacation Bible school, period. One, in a lower income country area, that wasn't happening. People have to take off of work because you got to get up at the butt crack of dawn. Someone has to watch your kids. Already grandmama watching the kids while you go to work during the summer. And then you're going to ask her to get up and go slave in the fellowship hall. Because Black churches are not just, they going to do it like the old school lunches. They're not doing it like, we just buy a box from Sam's and this, that, and the third. No, they going to cook them hot dogs. They going to cook the chicken. They going to cook whatever. They didn't get until later where they started buying, from the deli like that to help. So folks weren't actually cooking. So yeah, no, it wasn't that. We had like church picnics, revivals. That was your vacation Bible school. You had a lot of revivals. That was your vacation. And then every night, different choirs could sing. But as far as like having a theme, and the kids actually have like dance and games and stuff, like no, we didn't experience that
activities, no. Oh my gosh.
Nope, none of that. I don't recall.
That makes me sad.
Well, I mean, everybody didn't get the high sedity life, and
no, there's nothing sedity about it. But what about the arts and crafts?
It's very
arts and crafts every night. That was my favorite part of vacation Bible school. You got to make something every night.
Yeah, no. If our Sunday school class was sitting up in there, basically the same way that Brother Walter and Deaconess Martha, and you sit there, and it's the same in your children's Sunday school class. There is no coloring, doodling. There is no Lifeway printout. You have to sit there and listen. Guess what? There is no vacation Bible school. They was not where their motto was, and I remember hearing that motto so much, was if I had to sit here and I had to learn the Bible this way, you can sit here and learn the Bible this way. There is no children's church. I remember when children's church started to pop off. I think I was 15.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And then it was very new. It was very new. And it was only certain older pastors that would accept, because a lot of them were like, no, we're not going to have them, because all they going to do is something bad. They ain't going to be doing what they should be doing in children's church. And of course,
that's sad.
Of course, there were other
all the youngsters.
All those news of, the youth pastors or associate pastors doing inappropriate things. So no, everybody sit in the same room and do, so it was very rare to go to any of these other churches and experience in the country, not cities life, but in the country, go to these different
Gosh.
churches where they actually had like a setup for children, a nursery, a nursery. Did not have a nursery. You needed to breastfeed, you go to the bathroom.
Now my church didn't have a nursery. It just wasn't large enough for that. But trying to think, was there a room?
Well, I'm just telling you.
I don't
We
know. I
had
don't know
a
about that.
you
I
had
never
a
paid attention to
knife.
that.
You had a knife, a nice
Oh,
church
not a
experience,
knife.
a knife. A nice church experience as far as a kid. Like you say, you really say you had it now. Like I was there was none of that. Like we had to finish up so we can go home and get ready because our parents had to get up and go to work. Well, they had things to do. You know, even though my mama
Well,
didn't
they
work.
went to work too. We had the evenings. Remember, we had vacation Bible school in the evenings. We
Mm-mm.
didn't have daytime vacation Bible school. It was from 6 to 8.
Yeah, and it had promptly ended at 8, and you better leave because Deacon had to go.
Yeah,
Whoever had to
yeah,
lock up the church had to go.
yeah. That was that week of it was a grind, but it was only for a week. But then again, you went to your friend's vacation Bible school too, so it's like you kind of rotated to all of them.
Yeah,
But
that's
I would go to at least 3 every summer.
mm-mm.
So this is gonna make you laugh. I don't know how I got on, but just that was like one vivid memory, just vacation Bible school throughout the year. And I went to vacation Bible school until I was 17.
Wow.
Yeah, I loved it. Like even the church that we were going to now, there was a different church when I was like 10 to 12 versus the one I was like 13 to 18.
Mm-hmm.
So those are 2 different churches. So in my 10 years, that church was the best when it came to like vacation Bible school experiences. They had really good trips, and the arts and crafts. The lady who was like over all the arts and crafts for all the classes, she would plan the arts and crafts that aligned with the theme. She even made arts and crafts kits for the adults as well. Like there were adult classes, so you always had like one for the toddler or kindergarten age kids, or pre-K, and then you had one for like first through 5th grade, and then you had one for like middle school age kids, and then if they're teenagers, for the most part, we would kind of, if it was enough, we would have our own, but if not, the few stragglers may sit in with the adults, or they would just help out with the older children.
Mm-hmm.
But I would go to the adult class because they had arts and crafts too.
I cannot believe that. I cannot.
I love
No.
arts and crafts. As a kid, like the stuff that she would do was just amazing to me.
But me
So I
doodling
have
and making a planner.
that was then. I mean, now I'm not doing that. I was a kid. I had time. I had time on my hands. Now I don't have time for that. But to make you laugh, my mom asked me, "Well, what do you want for your next birthday party?" And I told her next year for my birthday, I think I want a vacation Bible school thing. And she was like, "What?" I was like, "Yeah, I want old school vacation Bible school food
Wow.
because everybody knows what vacation Bible school food is.
Yeah.
It's like hot dogs, hamburgers, those little it was 2 types of cookies you would get. The kind that were shaped like a windmill, or you had those cookies that had like this lemon frosting on top. But it wasn't a
Oh, we
sandwich
had
cookie, it was
Oreos.
just
We had cheap Oreos.
no, we just
The
these were
golden,
cheaper.
the golden cheap
No,
ones and the
these are
regular.
they weren't even sandwich cookies. They were that cheap. They were like, or they had the ones that looked like tin metal roof. It was like they had ridges. They were coconut cookies, but they were ridges. They were like rectangular. They're like
Yeah.
ruffle cookies.
Yeah.
So you had one of those 3, and then you always had like this fruit punch, but I don't think there was no fruit in it.
No, it was straight red dye and some kind of flavoring with sugar.
And sugar and water.
Yeah, that's all it was.
Yep. And then on the last night, Friday was always like the most fancy because like one night you might get hot dogs, one night you may get like ham sandwiches or turkey sandwiches. Another night you might get, I don't know what else we would have. You might have hot dogs one night, hamburgers one night. But anyway, Friday was always pizza. That was like the fancy.
Yeah,
fancy.
yeah.
Let's
Friday
get
was pizza.
So yeah, I was like, I want some type of vacation Bible school themed party because I want to have music, of course, but I want to have like literally adult arts and crafts.
You're so old. You're
Yep, that's what I
so.
want.
I'm like, how in the world you go from you 17 years old? Hey, what do you want for your birthday? Vacation Bible school. What? You about to
Yep.
turn 18 and you want vacation Bible school?
No,
Okay.
I'm saying this year. She asked me what do I want for my
This
birthday next year.
what? Whoa.
That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, not when I was a kid. I wasn't thinking about no church. But no, I said this.
Wow.
Yeah, I was like, next year for my birthday, I want a vacation Bible school themed party. Because think about it, you're an adult and you like to doodle. So that's not too far fetched. There are so many arts and crafts places popping up, like the painting and sipping parties you can have. So apparently adults like to paint.
Yeah,
Random
but
pictures that they're not gonna do anything.
that includes
with, but throw 'em in the
wine,
trash.
not communion.
I mean, I could have wine. I mean, it's my birthday. I can have libations. I can have a bartender for VBS
and a DJ.
and a DJ at the VBS Arts and Crafts Party.
ABCs of salvation.
Sip on this communion. But yeah, that's what I want. So you can paint. We might have a painting station. You can make some Run DMC and some Kirk Franklin. You know, just never know. But yeah, I was like, what different stations can I have? I know painting can be one.
And then my gosh, Donnie Parker, everybody got to stand.
Yeah, and then we can all fall down and get back up.
Oh my gosh!
There you go. Yeah,
musical chairs. Instead of the electric sliders be stomped.
There you go. Now you're getting it.
I'm not coming to your party. Is the attire gonna be denim jeans and denim jeans, denim skirts and polos? Is that gonna be our attire?
Well, no, I never went to a church like that. We could always wear pants. So you're more than welcome to wear pants. And but you have to. We're gonna have a t-shirt station because everybody knows that Vacation Bible School you make a t-shirt.
No, I've never.
What?
We had t-shirts made and we bought them, but we did not make it.
No, every year you made a VBS shirt.
And we all gonna make this shirt for you to give it away because you ain't gonna wear it because you're not gonna wear it because there's writing on it, so you're gonna give it away.
And let me tell you, you have to make them on Monday or Tuesday so that they'll be dry by Friday.
It only takes 24 hours to dry.
Oh no, we used to have so much paint on those shirts. Like
we're adults now, so like.
Oh well, let's see. It might be better. But my point is, I want arts and crafts. I want like a painting station, a t-shirt station. We might do a pottery. No, we're not doing that. A pottery painting station.
Pottery? I don't remember doing pottery at Vacation Bible
Pottery painting. Okay, again, this is still the grown-up version, so it can be VBS inspired.
There we go, because I'm going jeez.
Not a recreation, but it's an inspiration.
Okay, here's what's gonna happen. And then with the food you're gonna have manna that done fell from heaven. You're just gonna have these crackers hanging from the ceiling that you just grab.
No.
And honey and milk. Get real old biblical with John the Baptist section with locusts, chocolate covered locusts.
No, not doing it. Laugh if you must. You're not invited. I just took your name off the list.
Well, I'm just saying, I'm going to sit over there and laugh the whole time. And I'm going to wear the biggest church hat I can find on top of that.
No.
Oh, you had, look, they wore that. And then we going to, what are those? The Keds, the shoes, the nurse shoe Keds. That's what I'm going to wear. I'm going to wear them.
Not to vacation Bible school. You just wear jeans and t-shirts.
And they had them t-shirts. They had them shoes on. They did. They sure did. I'm going to have me a fishnet hairnet on.
Oh my God. You're getting too much joy.
And have a whistle, because you know the old lady can't be hollering and snapping their
whistle.
Because you can't be hollering and snapping your finger to blow the whistle. Get the attention. Hey, now y'all pay attention. Y'all see, y'all hear pastor. Y'all know the pastor is talking. Y'all don't need to be over here talking while the pastor's talking. Respect the pastor. That's why God gonna strike y'all down. But like, dang.
Oh my gosh.
God,
yeah. Like right here, huh? That's how we going out. Like
in the sanctuary, in the church. It's over there.
I cannot believe school. He just took him.
You had a very luxurious vacation, and then you just stuck in there. See, I just like I said, I remember my vacation Bible school was working them, so I did not get to experience actually doing the stuff. The church that we went to, I don't even want to. It wasn't. It was. I don't know. I didn't want to. It was a church, and I was working, and I don't even want to give them credit to anything, honestly. Not because they're a horrible church, because everybody's in their different path. You learn whatever. That's one thing I did learn after leaving there, that, just because it wasn't for me doesn't mean it's not for somebody else, and they can grow from it and they move on. You do other things. But this particular church, I actually worked, and I was so dedicated as a PK that I took off work. I stayed my vacation time for vacation Bible school. One, I loved it. I loved the act of teaching kids, especially like middle school kids. That was like my favorite age, right? Because they're so spongy at that age. I hated teaching anything below that or above that, because either they knew so much or they just wouldn't shut up long enough to hear anything. And I just wasn't preschool, elementary. That just wasn't my thing. But like 5th grade to like 8th, 9th, maybe. Oh, love teaching that stuff, because they would just soak it all in. Like, and they were actually interested. So I would take off and I would decorate my entire room. Like, that was my favorite thing to do for vacation Bible school, was to decorate. And this is later early 20s for vacation Bible school for me. Late teens, I was just kind of learning about vacation Bible school. So yeah, no, in children's church, I think that was around late teens too. So I was just kind of like, oh, okay, this is, for kids, you raised in the adult atmosphere, you don't know any different. So to know that you can doodle in your Bible and to write notes and all that kind of stuff, and they teach you how to do that, it was actually quite interesting. But vacation Bible school for me, it was work. I was called the spray paint and cardboard queen, because I would take spray paint and cardboard and create a room.
Wow.
Yep. That's all it took. Because they only gave us like $25 to decorate. And I felt like a teacher for school, and like, this is what they give teachers for school, $25, and tell them, all right, teach the whole year with this $25. And I'm like, I gotta teach. And then they want you to be like elaborate. Like, I'd hate it if Instagram was really popping then, because my room would be the ghetto of vacation Bible school. Excuse me, because these people were like buying the actual like backdrops. I was creating the backdrops. Like, I made a waterfall one time out of nothing but cardboard, that party paper that's in rolls. I made it out of just that, and I think I took some bed sheets, or was it just paper? And I like covered to make all the stuff I need. I had to make a waterfall for something I was teaching. I couldn't remember what it was, but I made a giant waterfall in my room with spray paint, cardboard, and paper. And it was like, and I had a fan. I brought a fan from my house to make it look like the water was falling. And it was like, oh my gosh. And, these other rooms, they were like, they just had the backdrop. They just spent $25 straight on the backdrop. And I'm like, that's boring. That's just a picture. Make it interactive. Do something. So yeah, I did stuff like that. And so I had to take off. I had to take off work so I could come up with the entire like design and everything. And like, my mom was the crafts queen, basically. So every vacation Bible school, she did crafts. And she would line up all the crafts and learn how to do the crafts so that she can, because my mom's a very crafty woman. My dad was security, because he was the big bald-headed black man. And yeah, most kids are scared of the big bald-headed black man with shades. And I think my siblings, they weren't old enough to do anything, so they just participated. So yeah, I ain't gonna say I was one of the best teachers. I just was one that dedicated the most time, because to be creative and to teach kids and to know that you only have 2 hours or less than 2 hours, you have like 30 minutes with them. That right there was enough for me. I know what we did the last day of Vacation Bible School. We ain't go on no trips. It was all, everybody had to be saved and everybody had to be baptized. So that Sunday after Vacation Bible School was baptism Sunday. That's what it was.
Oh,
you had to clean up,
wow.
Friday and Saturday. And then, yeah, everybody who got saved during the week got baptized on Sunday. That following Sunday. Yep. That's what it was. That was the
Interesting.
most work I have done and I enjoyed like that right there. You could, if you just did Vacation Bible School, I would be fine. Because it's just so much fun and interesting. But yeah, no, that was just it. Mm-mm. And then I actually got pushed out of being what do you call it? Because I wanted to experience Vacation Bible School. I actually got kicked out of Vacation Bible School, like some of the children's stuff, because I was so old. They was like, no, you're too old to be here. You got to get out. I was like, well, fine.
You got kicked out of the nest, you little eaglet.
Yeah, I sure did. Rude. Rude people. But that was all right. But no, it was those teen years. Like I said, I think one church I was at, I got in trouble for wearing jeans on Sunday and didn't care and kept doing it. Once we left that church, that's what I was going to say. Leaving churches at that age was hard because you really remember those people and those memories that you made in those revivals and those, I don't remember going on any church trips like that, but just having all those emotions and stuff, and then having to cut ties because, like I said, my father, he was told he was a preacher. I think, like I said, I was around 16, 17, and he was given the start of the children's church at this one church, and that was, I guess, his start of the ministry or whatever. And to get kicked for him, my dad either not had to have a meeting with him or something like that, and it didn't go well, and then he had to leave, and then it was like, well, we're leaving this church, and I'm going, well, I'm old enough to stay if I want to, and I tried to stay, and how they treated me when I stayed was like, okay, I guess I have to leave. Like, they were forcing me, like, no, you are no longer part of this community club, this church club. You're no longer a part. You cannot stay here. You have to go. Like, I was not accepted. I was not, told about the inside stuff that was going on like before. None of, the kids that I hung out with, they wouldn't talk to me for real. And it's like, well, what do y'all know that I don't know? And so, getting kicked out in a sense or not accepted, it's like, wow, okay. Didn't know that I wasn't allowed back just because my father's no longer the children's pastor. So I gotta go.
That's not cool.
Yeah, well, you live and you learn. And I said, well, I was already sick of them anyway, hence why I was wearing jeans and t-shirts to church. So, I mean, I ain't had no respect for them anyway, I guess, according to them, because I didn't care. And then we move on to this other church after we did like home church for a while. And like I said, this church, it was there through most of my early adult life. And dad was like, he ended up being the associate pastor. He was definitely called to preach there and had to go through all the like steps of being watched and make sure he was up to code. It's funny how in other religions, like there's this whole community of people that have to, you either learn from it. You could literally be born and raised in the Bible Belt and say, I'm called to preach, and someone will slap a church in front of you and say, go for it.
Yeah, no preparation.
No preparation at all. And like my dad took it seriously, and he still does to this day. But it's like it's just like, okay, we're gonna watch you for like a month. and then we're gonna lay hands on you and let you go. We'll let you continue to lead beside me. And I was like, what? I was like, well, that's how you do it. Anybody can say they were called and just do it. Not saying that's what my dad did. I was just saying, just interesting how you see that happen. And then, like I said, when we got to this church, actually was really introduced to Vacation Bible School and things like that. It's like, wow, okay, so this is what, these churches do. And leaving
That's
there
why it was always fun to visit your friends' churches, because you got to see what other people did.
Well, when I went to my friends' quote unquote churches, it was by pretty much the same daggone thing. Like, it wasn't nothing different. Everybody did the same thing. And then, of course, and then also being Black and in the country, you did not go to any other church but a Black church.
Oh, I forgot you talked about that last week.
Yeah. So everybody had the same. Even if that Black church was in the city of, my hometown, you still, and then if you went in there, like I said, you got to know someone to, do that, to be in there. You can't just walk in there. You got to have some kind of relative. Oh, my granddaddy goes to church here. Oh, okay. I didn't know that. Yeah, they soften up. If you just come in as that's just like, who are you and why is you here? Like, I'm not like the audit police. Like, I'm not here to audit and see what you're doing. I'm just here
FBI investigator.
It's like, what the crap? I'm the same color as you. What's the problem?
You CIA?
I never understood that. And like I said, you couldn't just, show up to anybody's church. That right there floored me. You either had to be part of the caravan that's in the revival, or friends with someone, or a relative has to have gone there. This is my, like I could go to my grandma's church right now. Oh, I'm so-and-so's daughter. And they'd be fine with it. They would be fine with it. Even though they haven't seen me in years, they would be fine as long as I just told them that. But if I bopped up in there, sat down and got up and left, I don't know what they was in here for. You see what she was wearing? Oh my goodness. She was shaped like this and she had this going on.
Oh, wow.
Oh yeah. My grandma, I bet you if I didn't went in there and didn't say anything, and this is like years, like I'm 37 years old. And you saying, 20 years, 15 years, and you still got the same type of mentality. It was like, man, that's what I'm saying. You had a bougie, citified church experience.
Oh my gosh.
You did. Like, it might as well as being literally a country. Like, this is what you did. Because not everybody, but who went to the club on Saturday and then they went to the church on Sunday. And because 9 times out of 10, they probably was wearing the same clothes they wore when they was out, because they was out too, they just went home, went to sleep, got up, had to sing that solo. So had to get their butt up, get ready, go sing solo. And I don't know, it's just growing up Black in the country, you had more racism in your own kind than you did if you went anywhere else. I'm not kidding.
Or discrimination. I wouldn't call it racism.
Well, okay, discrimination. Yeah, no, because it's not that. Because they weren't like trying to kill me or nothing. It was just you didn't fit in. But I remember going to an all-white church, just visiting. And I was just like, oh, hey, how are you doing? Welcome. Glad you're here. Come on, have a seat. Only doggone chocolate chip in there.
A chocolate chip.
And they didn't treat me no different. Now, granted, still, on face value, they didn't treat me no different. But still, I'm like, okay. But I go pick up some country church on Sunday. Any other time, they ain't gonna welcome me in like that, or they think that okay, I know I said this before, and it's actually, I thought about this week and I wanted to ask you about it. Code switching. They act like you're supposed to understand what they're telling you. Sir, ma'am, I may be black, but I don't code switch. I have tried and I still don't understand not one doggone thing you're saying to me. Nothing. You're going to have to break it down and tell me A, B, C, 1, 2, 3.
Wait a minute. What?
Like, let's say, you know how we have our own phrases and terminology for stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Us nice African American people, we have our own, just different sayings for things. I can't even think of one right now. I wish I had one right off the top of my head, but I don't. Let me see if I can look one up because I don't use them every day. So I just don't. Like, why? Why? Ebonics. There we go. That's what I'm trying to think of. Like Ebonics in a sense. It's just, you don't use it every day. If I'm going into your church and you're deciding to go from your Harvard speech to your professional speech to, oh, she black, she'll understand if I said, it's, I don't know. Come on, just think of something, anything. If I said this, she'd understand. Like, no, I don't.
I get that part of it. Are you saying you don't understand what a black person would say?
Yes, I wouldn't understand what you're saying if I come into like your church and you're just like giving me, some kind of terminology that I don't necessarily understand. Not to say just because I'm black, I should just understand what you're saying. Like, okay, our facial expressions. We know our facial expressions speak volumes. We don't have to do much to speak with an eyebrow twitch or a lip press a certain way. Sir, madam, when you're saying something to me, I'm going to need you to tell me exactly what you mean. And it's almost like, if I don't say it, you should just understand because we're black and we're the same people. They're like, no, I don't come to this church. So I'm going to need you to explain to me exactly what you are saying. And now I feel out of place. Like, you're supposed to be welcoming and you're not very welcoming. You're very not welcoming. And I'm not trying to say that black people shouldn't talk in their jargon. No, I'm just saying that when you have a guest, because you don't know, one, I may look black, but I could be Haitian. I could be Nigerian. I could be whatever. And
you're black, but you may not be African American.
I may not be African American. And you just speaking like that. And I'm just supposed to go, oh, yeah, I understand what you're saying. That over there. No. Welcome me with English and then tell me to have a seat. Oh, jeez. Tell and explain to me. Don't expect me to just to know what the flow of the like most black churches are the same. It don't matter. You have your setup of what you're gonna do. It just comes to you when you sit down. I can't even explain it. You sit down in the black church, you just know. You know when you got to stand up. You know when you got to sing. You know when they're about to start hollering. You know when they're about to start shouting. You know when it's about to close. You know when it's about to close for the third time. You know when it's about to close for the seventh time. And then you know when you got to go to the bathroom in between all of that so that you can space out when you're going to fall asleep in the middle of church. Like, you understand that because you've been doing it for so long. But sir, madam, I'm here for you. I don't know when to go to the bathroom. So when I get up and you look at me and be like, sit show down, I'm like, well, I did not know we couldn't get up at this time. You know, I'm a guest. Like, help me.
Who's telling you to sit down?
I don't know. Some lady mad at me because I got up and the preacher was preaching during a good part.
Oh, well, like, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. I had to pee.
I don't believe an adult should be able to tell me another adult when to go to the potty.
Oh, I wasn't an adult. I was like a teenager.
I'm also the person who will eat in church.
Yes, we have established the fact that you are a snack hoarder.
Even though you're noticed somewhere. I was walking in saying no food and drink allowed in the sanctuary. Well, then you shouldn't take so long while we're sitting in the sanctuary.
That's why I'm like, you know that there's a setup. Like, you know that people have to like there should be an intermission. If you're gonna go longer than 45 minutes, there should be an intermission. And then you should have a concession stand out in the vestibule area.
Oh gosh.
or taco trucks or food trucks outside. So we
What's
can all
complimentary food?
something, because there's no reason an adult's attention span, an average adult's attention span is between 30 and 45 minutes. Excuse me. We can't even sit in a classroom longer than 30 minutes without going, okay, I got to get up and move my legs.
Well, that's why they changed things up. It's not like you were sitting through a sermon for 3 hours. You sat through singing, scripture reading, some type of praise dance, the announcements.
See, and that's the thing, like all this talking. Why are we doing it? One, why are we doing announcements? Okay. I understand.
You know what's going on in the church or in the community.
You gave me the bulletin. I can read it. And if you
can't,
to
elaborate on that. We need to elaborate on it in case y'all have questions.
No, you don't want everybody in your business. So why are we talking about Sister So-and-so and how she got chlamydia and why she's out? Why are we talking about that? Oh, she's sick and she is at home. We all know which deacon it was and we all know how it happened. Okay. So why are we talking about it? Why are we talking? That stuff used to bother me because you be sitting there and they be talking about, well, Sister So-and-so is going to be out for the next 6 or 7 months. Why 6 or 7 months exactly? So we're going to need someone else to take over the fellowship hall committee as a leader. Why?
Because she's under the weather.
No. Because she's not married and she has to be sat down. That is why. But
here's my question. Okay, I'm sorry. I got a question about that. I'll wait.
Go ahead. No, go ahead with your question. I was just
So with this whole culture of sitting someone down, air quotes, I want to know, number one, are all parties who participated in the sat down behavior required to sit down?
No.
Number one. Number two, what's the purpose of sitting down? Is it to give the person time to reflect?
That's a good question.
As a means of punishment to stop you from working?
I don't know. That's a good question. I've never been in that situation before. I've seen it happen.
I've known somebody to get sat down, but I didn't get it. Like,
I didn't either. I didn't understand it either. It used to drive me crazy because okay. So like, for example, there was this one girl, she was like right shy of graduate, or she did graduate. It's funny too, because you could graduate depending on how big your church is, you could graduate and it's fine. But if you were still in school, you couldn't do this no more. You had to sit down. I remember this one girl, and they actually thought it was her. She wasn't a lead soloist, and she wasn't even in the choir for real. But she did sing occasionally when she did decide to show up. And they thought it was her and the drummer that did whatever and got caught or what have you. And of course, she ended up pregnant. And I come to find out she was also a minister's, both ministers, a man and female daughter. And I was like, so who about to sit down? Is the ministers about to get sat down? Or is it just her going to be sat down? She disappeared.
Oh, wow.
She was gone. She showed up every now and again. And she would always show up to church late and she would always leave early. She didn't get to come back to the choir. She didn't get to participate in any of the other things that happened at the church. Now, I don't think the drummer was the actual father, but he could continue even when it was all kind of scrutiny. He continued to drum. He continued to play.
See, that's very sexist. That's a sexist policy.
Very much so.
And discriminatory. I mean, I wonder, has anybody ever gone to like sue for discrimination?
At a black church, what you gonna get? The pews?
No, sometimes you sue not for money, but for policy change.
Ah, they ain't
But then at this point, I
not.
don't care what you're doing nowadays. They're begging people probably to volunteer. So even if you did something that was a set downable offense a long time ago, it's okay. You just keep working to repent. You'll be all right.
Yeah, now, but I guess actually, you know what I want to say? I think it's this. I think because the woman can actually show the sin, the man cannot show the sin. It's always just a he said, she said. But because eventually the sin will show on her, she can't be put up to be like, oh, we accepted that this sin. And I'm going, okay, what I don't understand is a woman can't get pregnant out of wedlock. That is a sin that is noticeable. You see it, and she can't do it. But it's okay for the deacons and the pastors to all get together the Saturday before. Mind you, now we all can't go clubbing, but the deacons and the pastors can have their meeting the Saturday before church, and they can be playing poker and smoking and drinking. They can do that because no one can see them and there's no evidence. But she can't go out and lay with whoever because the sin will be shown. It's another sexist thing. It's like, oh, women, y'all supposed to stay home. Y'all ain't supposed to be going out having mimosas on Sunday because you're supposed to be at church. But they can have football on Friday and they can act a plum fool on Friday. But on Sunday, oh, it's not that big a deal. They don't have to get sat down. I remember in one white church that a family got sat down because they went to the races. They went to the Talladega races on a Sunday. And this was a white church and they sat them down. They talked about them like a dog.
That's odd.
I was like,
what's wrong with going to a race? It's just watching a car drive around in a circle.
I guess because they didn't love the church enough. And when white people said
the race on a Sunday,
yeah, you got to come to church. You need to love your pastor. Oh, that was the other thing. You got to love your pastor. You love the church. You got to be here. But I remember they sat them down so daggum hard. They actually left for a few months. That's the difference between white and black. Like black people, you get sat down, but you still can come. But you don't get judgmental stares. White people, you get sat down, you get excommunicated until everybody's feelings done being hurt. Then you could come back.
At that point, I don't want to come back.
I remember seeing the difference of that so strategically that I was just like, wow, okay, that's interesting. Because I'm like, you get sat down around black folks, you just get sat down until the sin is done, I guess. You done sinning. And then you can get up and...
Well, I was done sinning 9 months ago.
No, but it's still with you. Still with you. I don't get it, girl.
Okay, now, but then when the sin comes out, everybody want to hold the sin and look out and tell you how cute the sin is,
and how much it look like his daddy, and that's your dad. Yeah, I see who you had. I'm like, we could have did a paternity test before this all came out.
And then you reminded me that the Lord hates the sin but loves the sinner. After you treated me this way for
9 months. Okay.
No, I need a sat down offense list. Because that can't be the only reason. I mean, can a person get set down for beating their spouse? No.
Oh gosh, no. Because there's a reason why their spouse got whooped. Because they were not submitting to their husband. Oh, girl, I heard that. I was like, what? They should have just, he is the head. She should listen. Excuse me, girl.
Blame the victim.
I remember one guy, he was blatantly cheating in the church. You know how, you get up and you greet your neighbor, get up, go across the aisle, greet your neighbor. Don't just greet the one next to you. Get up, go across and greet your neighbor. Got up. I saw this plain as day because I was in the choir at the time. And I think it was so the choir could get down. So we all had to get up and, move around. And I saw him, wife is there at the church coming out of the choir stand. I'm behind her and I see this man. I went, is he literally grabbing her butt? right
God.
here in the church, and his wife is right, and he ain't old enough to where he's just like, oh, it brushed. No. And I'm like, she came in the church. No, good and well, his wife is in the church. I was like, the blasphemy. But it was okay, because the wife didn't do nothing about it that I know of. She didn't do nothing about it then, because because I knew this woman. She didn't play with kids or adults. And she fought kids and adults. So I was like, oh, it's about to happen. It's about to happen. Like, we about to have a Holy Ghost brawl right here, right now. Nope, nothing happened. Sat down right next to him like he ain't did nothing. Cheetah and Chidi in the church. I was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I was like, what? Did they do anything to him? No. Now, was he any kind of member outside just a regular member? Like he had a position? No. So that's probably why they didn't do nothing or say anything. But yeah. And then, of course, if the person that gives the most money, they definitely ain't going to say nothing. Why you bite the hand that feeds you?
You can't buy your way out of sin.
No, but you cannot pay taxes and call yourself a church organization.
This is too much.
I'm telling you, that's the stuff that I remember as like a teenager, stuff that I saw and into my young adult, early 20s. Like, I just remember seeing all this stuff. Like, I was just like, oh my gosh, I cannot believe that, you can see, and you hear about it. And of course, oh, no gossiping in the church. I ain't never heard a pastor preach so much about tithing, gossiping, and sex, to not have sex in the church as much as I've ever heard in my teenage and young adult life. Money, sex. What did I say the other one was?
I don't even remember. I'm still going back on.
You still what?
I'm still thinking about how you said they were preaching so much about not having it.
Yeah, and it's like, why not preach anyways, that's a whole nother topic for another day, that one. But yes, girl, you just had such a rainbow and unicorn church experience. I'm so happy you did. But at the same
I did.
But at the same time, I'm like, you don't remember. Well, not say you don't remember. You don't have a knowledge of any of the negative aspects of church growing up. You just had so much fun.
I mean, I didn't want to go because it was boring, in my opinion, but all kids thought that, so I didn't think anything of it.
It's only boring if you don't count when someone's going to shout, or if their wig going to fall off, or what hat so-and-so's going to wear today. If, brother so-and-so, he going to wear his bright color suit. Like, you got to make it fun. At that point, you got to figure out how to make it fun. Like, what was that post that little boy took a picture of his mama shouting? He just kept taking pictures of her shouting. And then he took a selfie of himself laughing at her shouting. That's the kind of stuff we do as a kid to make church fun, because they ain't trying to make it fun for you. They want you, they were like, you called in the name of Jesus, and it's like you hollering at me and I don't like it. Like, I got hollered enough at home.
Right.
Shit.
Yeah. And thank God I didn't have to deal with that part of it. We didn't have any hollering, shouting matches in church.
Yeah, I forgot y'all had different denomination.
We were just nice and quiet.
Yeah, no, there was a bunch of hollering and screaming and sweating and spitting and.
Oh gosh, no.
Oh yeah, the spitting.
And heavy breathing. Did your pastor do that?
Girl, if I didn't.
The asthmatic.
Yeah, look, I could do it right now without having to do it hard.
Well, no, we don't want you.
That's what I'm saying. This episode, I'm not doing any impersonations too hard because of the asthmatic flares that I'm having.
No.
But a short one, yeah, that whole, and I'm like, no. Tag gum. Why you got loosen the robe, sir?
No, I'm going to the bathroom and I'll be out when you finish.
We would die. Like I said, we would time it. when he would actually do it, the musicians, we'd look and see, when they would do certain, because see, sometimes the musicians would egg it on. And that would be even more fun because they knew the kids in the back, we'd be back there waiting for it. Who gonna shout today? Girl, there was this one, I don't want to say it. Nah, I ain't gonna say it. But I will say that she did shout, and oh my gosh. And she had micros. Oh my gosh. We thought she was gonna like give somebody whelps because she would shake so hard and swing so hard. And it was like we would see if their braids would fall out. We would look to see if who would get hit by the hair.
This is so sad.
We would do that.
This is so sad. I'm picturing this in my mind. Like I can see her on her head just jerking, and the braids are flying from left to right.
Yeah, just back and forth. And then if she would sit, she'd lose her footing. If she'd sit, we'd see if the pew would fall. Because some of them pews weren't bolted down. So we'd see if the pews go fall. None of the pews ever fail. But yeah. And then how some people shout, oh my gosh, it'd be so funny because everybody had that little twerk or whatever that they would do, the little tick. And it'd be so funny because they just be like one guy, I remember he would switch. Like he would just sit there and switch in place. Not two-step, just sit there and them hips be going back and forth. Oh. I've been like, oh my gosh, how are you doing this? And it would be so hilarious to be just sit there and watch him do it. And it's like, I find it more hilarious watching men shout than women, because women are way more expressive and you knew it was going to get crazy. But men, especially don't get that fraternity brother. Let him mess up. Let him mess up and forget where he at.
And what he would do. Oh gosh.
Oh my gosh. They mess up and oh man, it was like, oh, wait a minute now, brother. You ain't a stepping. You you calling out to the Lord. You dancing for the Lord. That's what you're doing.
You should watch on YouTube. I subscribe to this channel called Funny Church Videos.
Uh-huh.
And they come out with a compilation of just random church things that happen like during a church service for the most part.
Yeah.
And this is a compilation of videos. It comes out every week, once a week. And they do not disappoint. They are hilarious.
You gotta send me that link. I would definitely.
I will,
because
I think they're like up to 135 now, so you could probably watch them.
Oh yeah, because I think it's hilarious. Week. I love it when they start running. Because let that one Stacey Adams slip up. Woo!
Oh my gosh!
It would be hilarious. It's just so funny. Yeah, man, now those parts, that's the fun part I liked about church, is seeing who would shout, what's the craziest shout you was gonna see, the stomping, the tap dancing, the digging for potatoes. Man, we had names for all of them.
Digging for potatoes.
Like what's that? It's almost like that Beyonce Single Ladies, where it looked like she punching the ground. Yes, that. And they be sitting over there doing that. I'm like, what are you doing? Oh my gosh.
That's funny.
That is the one thing. Now being in Baptist churches like that and seeing now what I do hear is that Pentecostal churches are worse.
Oh gosh, they're their own league.
Like they be literally swinging from ceiling fans. And I'm going, I couldn't. Like there was
that I didn't see any of that growing up.
No, I didn't see any of that. I just know that they were like, if you think this is bad, you should go to a Pentecostal. No, I see some videos and I'm going, I'm good. I'll be thinking y'all possessed. Y'all ain't shit.
Wow.
Yeah,
you definitely gotta watch the Funny Church videos. You will get a kick out of those.
let's see. I remember a beef with the pianist and the organist. It was so funny. He was mad because they were both very headstrong, and one of them was there longer than the other, but the new one came in and he was given the head position or whatever. And I don't know what it was about or anything like that. I just know that, it was tension. And so you got the organist over here playing, and then they're on opposite sides, so they're not next to each other. And you've got the pianist over there trying to play, and he brought the auto tuner one time. And I said, why you bring an auto tuner to church? And he was trying to show out with the auto tuner, and they were battling, like they were literally battling, getting louder and louder and louder and louder. I was just like, what are y'all doing? And of course, everybody that's shouting ain't paying no attention. They just like, oh, it's getting louder. We need to, get to shouting and get it going. And I'm just sitting here watching this dude, and he about ready to start cussing.
Okay.
At the organist, because the organist is over here laughing because he pissing off the pianist, and the drummer sitting here like, well, I'm just gonna play these drums because
and this is not gonna end well.
And this is not gonna end. It was so funny sitting there watching it. Oh my gosh, it's those type of things. And then I'm a people watcher anyway, so I'm gonna watch their facial expressions and see what's going on and stuff like that. But those were the fun times in church. I was watching them women shout, fall out, people. The other thing was you got voluntold a lot. So if all the ushers, like all the ushers had to go up and get prayed for, or someone else had to be ushered wide. I'm like, I ain't never ushered before. You seen them usher, you know how to do it. Throw the blanket on them when they fall out, so you can't see up their skirt. Like the skirt already touching the floor, you can't see up no further. You can
don't know how they're gonna get up because their ankles are stuck together.
Exactly. Like what did you? I used to hate doing that. Oh, and armor bearers. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, we didn't have any of that.
Had armor bearers. I'll tell you a real disgusting story with that. This is one of them spitting and hollering and nastiness. So this particular pastor had his cloth, to dry off his sweat and all of that.
Ew.
And he's wearing his pastoral robe and what have you. And he had somehow, I don't know how armor bearers came up, but he had select armor bearers, and he said he's gonna take these young men under his arms, under his wings, whatever, and lead them and all this kind of stuff. And so he had these select few, and now all of these young boys were my friends, and I was like, they already always here at the church because I'm always here at the church. How much more you want out of these kids? It's almost like he didn't want them to leave, so he had to give them, because I think one of them was really close to graduating high school, so I guess trying to make them stay so that they don't go anywhere, because pastor numbers, money, all that stuff, don't want to lose that. And but anyways, he went to go bless them, and I'm sitting in the back watching them bless them. And sometimes I was into it, but this time I was just like, I'm lost. I don't know why we're here and what we're doing. And he started at the end, and he started blessing them. Now he had wiped his head with this rag, mind you.
Ew.
And he done, wiped his mouth, his head, his neck, all this stuff, got the sweat off. He done did this whole entire time. And the armor bearers had to sit up front. And next thing I know, he says, I'm gonna bless you with the I don't know, he didn't say spit or no spirit. I know he didn't say that, but with something of the spirit. And the next thing you know, he took that rag and he started slapping them in their faces. Girl, I was like, oh my gosh. And one of them, I think he blocked it. I remember him blocking it. He just like sat down, like act like he fell out. Because I was like, I couldn't get hit with that. And then the other one, I think he got hit in the chest with it, and he sat down. But girl, you talking about somebody going, you've been wiping your face, your sweat off with that thing for an hour and a half. And then you gonna come over here and start slapping people? He was notorious for throwing that rag. And then, of course, it wasn't a white rag, it was a black one.
Ew. So we know it wasn't bleached.
I was so appalled. I never sat. One, I didn't sit at the front because I saw him spit one time when he was talking, and I was like, that's enough for me. I don't need to sit up there. And two, if you sat, I think mainly the people that sat up front was like, pastor's wife, deacons, ministers, that kind of thing. Or if you had something to do up at the front, you would sit close to the front. I always sat mid front, mid back. I didn't care. Because the devil sat in the back of the church. I said, well, we about to be best friends. So I ain't sitting up there with y'all crazy. Then you got to see more sitting in the back.
Yeah, that's what made you very entertained.
Yes, it was very entertaining. When I wasn't doodling or drawing to keep myself occupied, I was watching to see who was going to shout and holler. So
that's interesting.
But yeah. So you had the wonderful experience, just didn't want to go, and I'm over here living life in the cult.
Well, you wanted to go for different reasons.
What do you mean I wanted to go for different reasons?
You were getting entertainment.
Oh, well, after I realized I can get entertainment. After I realized that, I can get a movie, just no dinner. But I mean, at first I was trying to learn, but when you go for so long, it's like you hear the same stories every year. They're not teaching you anything new. They're not. That was another thing. They didn't teach currently with the times. Like now, some pastors are teaching with what's currently going on in the world. Back then, they didn't teach what concurrently with what was happening in the world. They taught based on what they thought the Spirit was telling them to teach for that Sunday. The word that was given to them for the week.
Yeah, I like the fact that my pastor actually plans out series, like a series of sermons. So it's all complimentary. And again, it's not that he doesn't believe the Lord gave it to him, but he still has to study and prep and plan, prepare, things like that. So it's nothing that just pops in your head and you just go with it and not be prepared.
Now, some of those do. They still do that. Well, like what's the ones now that are you don't love the church because you ain't giving enough money and all that, and they just go on that rant for how long because they don't get their personal private jet or whatever. But you have those others that that they do have their set, but it's still an agenda. To me, it's still agenda based because it's set for a certain season. So like I've learned or I've picked up that August to December are the highest times for church attendance. It dwindles after December. And of course, it really tapers off at the end of the school year. So that's why they have all those activities and things to try to keep you occupied during the summer at certain churches. Like they really push a lot of activities versus during the school time, not only because it's school and you can't really do all that stuff, but also because people are more prone to stay on their task of what they have to do. Church, we go to church on Sundays, we do this on Wednesdays, whatever the case may be. I just find it interesting that how church has changed, not just because of like, you go now from just a small country church or the small city church to a mega church. And, everybody's not everybody, but people are kind of changing from choirs to praise team or what have you. It's just that they have to keep up with, well, they don't have to, because the word of God is the word of God. It's not going to change. People just have to change because people always want to be like me, entertained. They have to keep them on track and keep them focused, or they lose track of whatever. And I just find it interesting how churches do that. And I notice that sometimes with their sermons, not only does it line up with the seasons, but it lines up with the uptick of attendance, and it also lines up with uh the seasons. That was it. I don't know why I said like there was another point. That was it. So
That it lines up like the sermons line up with the seasons, like
yeah. So like harvest season is literally with the season harvest. So you have August to like September or October, where it's the season of harvest. Well, that's when most church services are full or more consistent. People get back into going to church and they stay consistent with it. That is also the harvest season for plants, crops, etc. It equals it's almost, and then if you notice, some sermons are led towards, or some of the, not all sermons, but some of them, they kind of gear more towards, not just bringing a guest, not just, having someone come, but strategically going out and picking the fruit or picking the vegetable or what have you. Be strategic in your walk so that we can continue to grow. And then, of course, you get into November and December, which are the holiday months. They start getting into the sermons of giving and giving into the sermons of taking care of those less fortunate. Well, that's the same thing in the season. It's the darkest part either. So you have to give people a lot more hope. You have to give people a lot more enthusiasm, because they don't have the activities to keep themselves going. And then they also get bogged down with busy stuff. And then you have the end of the year, physical year for businesses and stuff that weighs down other people who have businesses. So you have to do things to keep them uplifted and also help them with the end of their tax bracket for the year. Donate, do this. This helps this. Okay. And then at the beginning of the year, it's a fresh start. Everybody's like, okay, everybody has that slogan or whatever for the beginning of the year. 2020, the 2020 vision. Yeah, it was 2020 vision. All right. It surely was. Everybody had 2020 vision in 2020. But every year, they try to do something with the beginning of the year stuff, whether it's a fast, also harvesting with fasting too, mid-year, get you through the rest of the year. You have your fastings at the beginning of the year, and you have your restart, and let's get back on track and stay where we are and stay focused. Let's finish out the year. We starting over new, and some of their focus is on rebirth, reborn. Of course, you have Easter, and other religions have things that coincide with that too. Birth, Easter, fertilization, new beginnings, weddings, all that stuff coincides, because they do base their sermons around the seasons and all of that. And then, of course, come summer, everything kind of gets more lax. Everything's not as strategic. Nothing's, it's just kind of like, oh, catch us here or catch this here. It's just kind of thrown out there in the wind or what have you. But if you notice, that's just what they do versus the older pastors who probably have not picked up that, or some new pastors that don't pick that up, and they just preach by what they have been studying or what they have been given. So it's a capitalism thing. It's they have to feed off of the seasons. They have to go with everything. So, and if you notice in some churches, especially mega churches, their color schemes and stuff, they coincide with the seasons. They will start coinciding with the seasons. They'll start picking. I mean, it's because it is a business for some. It's not just, we're trying to get souls saved. It's a business.
I mean, technically, it's a nonprofit, so there has to be a business structure. I mean, it's a nonprofit organization. Yeah. So I mean, there has to be a business structure there. And just like all nonprofits, there is typically a fundraising plan.
Mm-hmm. And you
So,
have to
I
make it
mean,
attractive. You can't just,
yeah.
you can't, well, they don't have to make it attractive. They want to make it attractive because of whatever, their goal is. Because I don't know every church's goal. I just noticed that I picked up on it when I was looking around 2020 when I was doing some reflecting on why I was going to church. And I started looking at past posts and past like their websites and how they changed them so often and things like that. And I was like, huh. So it's not just mega churches, small churches do the same thing. It's not, it's just now it's more of a strategic plan. Because like you said, down here, you drive 20 minutes, you're gonna pass 30 churches. Or probably more than that.
Yep.
And you can see if they have something in their front yard parking area, if they have something posted for promotion or whatever, you can see where they're going or what they're doing. So yeah, I just find it interesting how churches have changed between when we were going and now, and how now they're very, very strategic and even forced to go
And
digital.
competition though has grown though.
Why are we competing in churches? Hold on, wait a minute. What?
Because you are still a non-profit organization. No church exists to not have any members.
Oh, right, yeah.
So that's my point. When I say competing, you're competing for butts and seats or views for those who are now
Digital.
attending virtually. And because of virtual attendance, competition is that much more stiff. It's like I'm not just competing with the churches in my, immediate area. A person can be a virtual member of a church a couple of states away. And more so, when I say member, they are sending their donations. Not to you anymore. They can send them anywhere.
Yeah, everything is online now. You could just send it to whoever you
Right.
want to, which is interesting because it's like, why are we competing? Why are they competing when it should be an equal? Which, of course, it all goes down to human nature and humans just being humans. Because now you've changed it from souls to likes and followers.
Well, you're just hoping that all of that translates into souls.
Yeah, okay.
Just like with any company, for profit or not, like you can get a lot of likes and views, but unless it translates into sales, it doesn't matter.
And I mean, that's what I'm getting at. It's like it's supposed to be about the person, the individual. And you don't went from, well, not you. They don't went from, that's what I'm saying. And it's not about that. It's about how many views can we get on our Facebook Live? How many people can we like our YouTube video? And then can we go viral? Can we spit in our hand and rub it on our brother's face and go viral? And now we've got more people looking at us,
I mean,
so,
but that doesn't translate into souls or donations. That's just views. That's just.
But now your name is out there. And now that your name is out there and people, now if someone will go, they might look at something else you've done and they might like it.
Yeah.
And then they might all of a sudden do this. So that's what I'm saying. Like we've gone from, and I actually kind of agree with my dad in a sense on this. And we don't agree often, but because we're so much alike that we butt heads. We're literally the exact same person, just female, male version. But he's like, we've gone from just preaching the gospel or teaching the gospel for what it is to decorating it so much. Okay, like my planner, for example, we don't went from just having a plain planner with check marks to stickers, flowers, farm animals, ducks, geese, lemonade stands, and watermelons, just so that someone would be interested in even looking in that direction. You got all the bells and whistles to hopefully get them to pay attention when it's like, it's literally as basic as black and white.
Yep.
But you have to throw this carnival and they still miss the point.
Yeah, because people want to cast the wide net and get a lot of people in, but we always have to realize that certain bait are for certain fish. And so if your church has one type of bait, that's okay because the bait that's for somebody else maybe cast by another church. And that's the place for them.
And why that's why I'm trying to get at is the fact that why is there a competition for butts in seats, as far as you have the butts that are in seats that you know, and they are paying you to encourage them and to give them the resources to go out and still do what they have to do. It's at the point now in my personal walk that the physical building, the virtual building, the metaverse, or wherever is useless to me. It's useful for some people. They need that structure where they log in or they go, they get dressed, they do whatever. But for me, the institutionalized crux or piece, it doesn't mean anything to me. I don't have to have the brick and mortar. I am fine with my fellowship and my learnings and my teachings amongst other people. So it basically taking the Bible study that you physically go and do and taking it out and going, I can do this with 3 or 4 people here, and we can meet whenever we have the opportunity and we can talk, or we can talk and still not have said anything about the Bible, but fellowshipped enough to where we've encouraged each other and may have said 1 or 2 verses and moved on. So like, that's where I am in my walk, where I don't need the building anymore. I don't need the, you know, the music and all of that stuff. One, I've lived through it. I've experienced it. I'm not saying it's not for anyone. No, if that's for you, that's for you. Well, for me, I know. I can listen to a sermon online if I wanted to. It's no different than me reading a book with, you know, a few pages of devotional or what have you, because that's all it is a verbal of what this person's thought process of interpretation of the Bible, whether it's teaching or preaching. But it's just like how that question of the competition and why they're competing for numbers versus competing for souls. Now they're competing for likes and competing for comments or competing for views. And it's like, it's just so simple. And that just made me go, you know, I need to get out of this rat race, because you go from like, and this will bleed into next time, because we've already, I don't went all the way into daggum adulthood at this point. I've gone on from, what was my thought process? Doggone it.
You were saying that you are pretty much over organized church.
Yeah, I am. But I had somewhere I was going with it and I lost it.
But for the listeners, for the record, of course, I'm the opposite.
Well, and the thing, I'm not against people going. I just know that it's just not for me. It's not for me. It's just not, I don't. And it's also because of my thought process. You know, I think about what other people think of me. And I'm like, I have to dress a certain way in order to go, versus just going as I am and not giving a flip, because that's not what I'm here for.
See, okay, and that proves the point of, and I'm using the word competition. I'm not saying I've ever heard of any church official use that. I'm just saying that, and it's a very general term. I'm not saying there's like membership campaigns, which there may be some actual organized membership campaigns. I don't know. But that proves my point of, you know, there is a church for everyone. You just have to find it. And to me, that does make sense why you have churches who advertise. You know what I mean? It's like, you won't know that a church exists unless they're advertising, unless they have in this day and age, unless they have an online presence. We do it for stores. We do it for other types of nonprofit organizations. Why can't a church do it?
Oh, they
won't know
can.
unless you're putting it out there. Now I agree, when popularity overrides the purest mission of what the church should be doing, mm-hmm. I think that's a problem.
Mm-hmm.
If that ever happens, I think that's a problem. I don't think that happens in every church, but that, I do feel like it probably does happen more often than we want to admit that it's happening. But yeah, my point is there's a church for everyone. So for example, my church, you're gonna see people dressed up like they're going to church in the 60s with pantyhose and the church mom hat and the suit that matches the shoes that matches the hat that matches the purse. You have some people who still do that. Then you have people who are there in some Chuck Taylors and some ripped up jeans and t-shirts, like that's what they want to wear. And then you have people who are like me in between. I'll wear something. It's not too casual, but it's definitely not dressy. It's just comfortable. I'll wear a dress and some sneakers. I don't care. It's what I want to wear. And nobody's looking at me any different for it. My pastor wears jeans and J's and a blazer.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like,
you
just gotta, if you're looking, you just have to, and I'm saying that for anybody, if anybody's looking for a place of fellowship, you just have to find your tribe, basically.
Yeah. And don't let
every tribe is not your tribe.
Yeah, right. Don't let nobody stop you. That's what I'm saying. That's one of the church hurts that I had to deal with, was just because I don't particularly care for this one church, or not the building, but the people that are in it, because of what they've done, doesn't mean that they're horrible people and they cannot help someone else. They just couldn't help me. That's just it.
Right.
And just because the church building as a whole, like going an actual congregation, does not help me, it doesn't help me for personal reasons. I have an issue with people looking at my outer appearance. I have an issue with just looking how I want to look. And so I realized, you know what? Let's take that stigma off of me. Let's take that worry off of me that's not necessary. Just not even worry about it. There's so many different ways to fellowship now that you don't have to physically go in the building. If we go actually back in the Bible and actually look, I mean, Jesus was sitting on the side of a rock on a hill, telling people stories. He was in a boat. Like, the building does not matter. It's what's going on that matters. And for me to get back on track, that's just for me. But at the same time, don't feel bad that you don't want to go. Like, that should never be, because, ingrained in us, you got to go to church every Sunday, or you don't love God, or you don't love the pastor, or you're a heathen, or what have you. It's like, well, then doggone it, send me straight on to hell, because I just not wanting to go. It's too much of a struggle. And if that was the case between heaven and hell, then, but with that, I also understand why people don't want to go to church. Don't want to be affiliated with the Christian, religion, because of that stigma. The church has gotten more relaxed. The church has gotten more open for some, but there's still that stigma, especially in the Southeast. Still that stigma. It's almost like discrimination. It's still that stigma of that there. It's not going anywhere. It passes down from generation to generation to generation. And if no one ever grows out of that, that mindset is still there. Guess what? You're still going to keep repeating history. And people are still going to, either feel shunned or not want to participate or what have you. So that's just my thoughts from that. Because I think
definitely.
Huh?
No, sorry, go.
No, I was just saying that. And that was I started having some of those thought processes like when I was in college. Because they were really pushing, trying to get you to go to church. And I'm like, no, don't want to. I'm just not. So
yeah, this is very interesting. Yeah, you have crossed over into the next episode of adulthood and beyond. So you've already kind of given us a sneak peek about how you feel currently about church. But
well, I'm just gonna
I think you should have someone. I think we should have a guest.
Who do you want to talk
to? Because
I
don't understand church hurt. I know church hurt is real.
Mm-hmm. I
have never experienced it. So to me, it's like
Well, I'd have to find someone that
I'm that person who's just gonna be like, okay, if you don't like the way I dress, get over yourself, and I'll keep coming. If I want to be here, you can look crazy all you want to, like and what I'm wearing, that doesn't bother me. Or if it got to the point where it did, then I would just go to a different church. Like, but I'm not gonna not go to church. But again, I want to. So you're not
yeah.
gonna stop me from doing something I want to do. And I've never experienced, and that's just, I mean, it's not bad, it's not good. It's just not, I've never experienced, how can I put it, the mistreatment of someone to the extent where it deters me from doing something, whether that's from going to a certain school, going to a church, or being a part of an organization. Like I've never experienced that, but I do know that people do. So I would love to just hear someone else's perspective on church hurt.
I'll have to
I mean,
find
I know
someone that's
some.
not gonna. I got a couple of people in mind. One of them is a life coach, and the other one is my sister. Um, one will keep it clean and actually have life lessons, and the other one will just probably flip a bird to anybody.
Okay, no, we want to end on a positive note. So it's going to be encouraging. So let's pick the person that's going to be more encouraging to others. To be comfortable in the skin that they're in.
Yeah, I got one. I got
To
somebody in
push
mind.
themselves to grow. Like maybe there's someone who's experienced church hurt and don't currently go, but they really do want to, and they need to know, where do I begin to even get processed this, to again to get back to doing what I
Yeah,
really want to do.
yeah.
There may be somebody like you who has experienced church hurt in some way, and they're the opposite. You know what? I don't want to go back, and they got to be okay with that. Like you're saying, I don't want to go back, and I'm okay with not going back.
Mm.
Some people don't want to go back, but they still feel the shame of not going back.
Oh yeah.
So then that means there's still something to process.
Oh yeah. There's this. I got someone in mind. I'll contact them. But there's this also a project. It's called Jude 3 project. Shout out to, I think her first name is Lisa. I started following that project because they're talking about Christianity in the Black community. And one of their podcast episodes was church hurt, but it was also about how, you just stopped going to church and you don't care about going, but they're still Christians. They've not renounced, being a Christian. They just, I don't have to go. I don't want to go. Anyways, like I said, it's Jude 3. That's one thing. And then there's this book that my aunt gave me and the CFO, and it was So You Don't Want to Go to Church Anymore. That is the name of the book. It is an audio. There is an audio version of it. But it's So You Don't Want to Go to Church Anymore. I can't remember the author, but the synopsis is this pastor doesn't want to go to church anymore. And he's going through the turmoils of it. And he takes you step by step from when it all started, like before he even realized it, to where he was at that time of the book being written. And that's helped me get through. And that can also shine light on how other people feel. Some other people may feel. But yeah, I'll definitely get a hold of one of the people that I think she's still active as far as, scriptures, reading, prayer. Like she's the heavy prayer warrior and stuff like that. I'll see if she has an availability and talk next week, because
That'd be cool.
she has a lot of insight. Like we both walk hand in hand in it, but she has a different outlook. Me, I had to get to the point where, which, like I said, this is next time, but I had to get to the point where I had to get God out of the building. So that was
I would love to hear both of y'all's perspectives.
Yeah, I'll get in touch with her and see what she's got. If it's not this week, I don't know.
We have time. It's just one of those, an idea that I just love other people's perspectives, because I think it makes for a richer life when you can, especially when you can talk to someone who has a very stark contrast to your point of view,
Mm-hmm.
but you can hear them out. You can see the validity in what they're saying. You don't have to agree with it, but you can understand why they feel the way that they feel. I feel
Oh
like that
yeah.
makes for a better world, when we can hear others' perspectives, and whether that's agree or disagree or just respect the differences. I
Right.
think that, yeah, I think that would be a better place if we
No,
could all do that.
I understand that. What I find interesting with this is the fact that um, we both lived two different lives, literally city and country. But the fact that I decided to get out of the thing that you decided to stay in because of just how we live, like our different mindsets. And I just find it so interesting that two Black women, both raised in the South, country ain't really that far from the country as far as the city standpoint. And it's not that much difference. But the fact that, we're just a couple of zip codes away from being raised, and just church alone is so stark different in how you
Yeah.
treat it. And then on what we saw and what we experienced just is so amazing to me. And I just find it interesting. I don't know. I find it interesting how you just like, what? That happened? It's like, honey, open your eyes. You're like, oh no, yeah.
I've been told I live in the land of rainbows and unicorns, and that's okay. I like living there.
Get out sometimes.
Um, the older I get, the more I see the ununicorn and rainbow like parts of society, and I don't like it.
Okay. I do have a question for you before we go.
Mm.
Based on your unicorns and rainbows, why do you find it comforting to wear the rose-colored glasses?
I'm a realist, so I don't want you to feel like I'm just like walking through life naive, but I feel like perspective in life is everything
Mm-hmm.
in every aspect of my life. So it's kind of like, I'll give a really crazy example, but when you're pregnant, your kid's kicking you in the bladder, you got to pee all the time. Yeah, that's a nuisance and that's annoying as heck. But I mean, you can sit there and think about that and let that kind of drive you that crazy. Or you can embrace it and say, you know what? At least my baby's kicking. At least I know my baby's healthy. It's like, it's uncomfortable, but it's only for a moment. That's what my rose-colored glasses looks like. It's just I choose to have a perspective of gratitude and positivity. And that's been a learned behavior. I don't want to say I've always, just been like that, but it's like you can let the other be the default and just be miserable.
Yeah.
And
I just
complain about a lot of
wondered.
stuff. Like I choose to have that positive perspective.
Hmm.
I do.
I just find it interesting because since I've known you, you don't let other outside influences bother you, which to me is like, how do you not? Like, I just feel like it's all the caution that you do in your life. At the same time, the fact that you're oblivious to some of the smallest stuff, I'm just like, how does she get just? I'm sitting here thinking,
Right.
how's she not getting hit by a brick walking underneath construction site? Because she's just like la 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 la, and I'm going, I don't understand. And it's like, it's at one point, I'm not gonna lie, I was just like, this got to be the grace of God, because there's no way. There's just no way. There's
But you know
no way.
what? Even if the brick fell and hit me, if I can live to tell about it, at least it didn't kill me.
See, no.
That's how I would look at it. At least the brick didn't. I mean, because guess what? Somebody else got hit in the head with a brick and they died. I'm still living to tell the story.
You living in half
That's how
and paraplegic, but you live it.
But I'm alive.
And I'm sitting here thinking, it's almost like okay, it's I'd say this. I'm all for being optimistic, but optimistic to a degree is very trying for me. I'm very, very pessimistic to the point of where I said realism is pessimistic. That's what it is.
No, it's not. I'm a realist.
You are very real.
I'm a realist. Trust me, I am. But
I just don't get it.
I feel like happiness is a choice.
It is. That I agree.
I choose to be happy. I think about the scripture with Paul that Maverick City Music so eloquently put in their song Jireh. I will be content no matter what my circumstances. That's scripture.
Mm-hmm.
That's what the Apostle Paul said, and that's my perspective on life. I've had little, like he said, I've had a little, I've had a lot. I have dealt with physical ailments and illness more than I would care to.
Mm-hmm.
I have lots of challenges with my health, but doesn't change the fact that I'm still alive. Doesn't change the fact that I have family who love me and friends who love me, and people to check on me, and people I can lean on when times get tough. Like, in spite of all of that, I still have great things to focus on in my life. So yeah, I can wallow in, like I can have a woe is me attitude about some things, but it's not going to change anything. It only changes my mood. So if my mind is what can change how I feel about something, whether positive or negative, let me choose to be happy.
I'm envious of that. I'm gonna be honest.
Contentment is a choice. Happiness is a choice. And I'm not saying it's not challenging at times, or for certain people it may be more challenging than for other people. I'm not saying that. I'm not diminishing how hard it can be at times or for certain people. But just to answer your question, it's like, I don't want you to feel like I'm walking through life like nothing will ever happen to me. No, I know kids are getting snatched off the street. I know sex trafficking is going on. I'm very aware of all of that. I'm cautious when I'm out and about. You know what I mean? I don't think nothing bad could ever happen, but I'm just talking about the things that, you can experience, or like you said, people can say things about you. You don't want to know what people have said about me. I've been fired from a job. I've been held hostage by a job. I've been through a lot, but I choose to smile through it all. And it's not fake. I really am. I've been through some really challenging stuff, like stuff that would blow your mind if you knew what I went through. And people who were like with me going through it, and they saw me come out the other side, they were like, how in the world? I was like, it's just God's peace. Like that scripture that talks about God's peace that surpasses all understanding will guard your heart and your mind in Christ Jesus. I've experienced that. I literally prayed and said, God, the world is falling down all around me. Like, if I could draw a picture, it would be me standing and Armageddon is happening all around me. And all I see is this ray of sunshine on my little person, like Olaf's snow flurry that only fell on him. And it's like literally buildings are burning down and ash piles of ash heaps. But I have peace. And I'm walking through this war zone and I just have peace. And I don't understand it. But I do.
But I applaud you for that. I really do applaud you for that. Because I'll be like, I can't tell this child nothing because, I'll be honest with you. I feel like I can't tell you nothing that's wrong with me because I feel like a Debbie Downer. And
oh my gosh.
This is 100% candid. This is 100% candid. This is nothing. This is like patron information that y'all should be paying for to get this.
We should edit this out. Like, you want to hear this part?
You want this part? You got to pay for it. There's actually another part I want to tell you about that I do want to put up for patron. But anyways, but this part right here, I'll give y'all for free. But the next part,
ooh, I love a freebie.
You got to pay for it to get, because it's actually gonna have names in it and what will actually happen. Anyways,
we should call Patreon, like anything that goes on there is those segments are called What Had Happened Was.
Oh yeah, what had happened was.
What had happened was.
Yes, I like that. I'm gonna write that down. You have to remind me because
I'm not gonna remember.
So let me get my sticky note right now. Let me just go and get it.
No, go get some stickers and some crayons and some markers.
No, I have my sticky note. You shut your face. I'm sick of you.
I had to say that. Sorry.
What had happened was, for our Patreon listeners, and you get to get
it has to be a dot on the end of that.
Okay. I got the dot.
An ellipse. I think that's what they call it.
Ellipses.
Ellipses.
Yeah, there you go. All right, come on now. But anyways, you'll get actual names. You'll get actual places of where, because I have a place I really want to tell you about before we go. Anyways, so we've known each other since 2020. So 2 years, going on 3. And you did not come across to me as like someone who has it all together or someone who is always rainbows and unicorns, because you had this germaphobe thing, which just,
I really am a germaphobe.
weirded me out. And I'm just like, whatever. And then,
oh my God,
when I text her or when I talk to her, it feels like I have to, for me, and that's just because I'm very much of a people pleaser. I'm very naive, gullible, and I read too much into stuff. When it comes down to reading comprehension, I can give you about 15 different ways of what this author may have said. I am that overthinker of an overthinker. So like when she texts me, I have to take it for face value, because I will sit there and go, well, what does she mean by this? Or what does she mean by that? Like today she texted me and she said, are we recording at this time? And she's put in there, I'm asking so I can get my schedule together. And I said, yes, we are. Because my first thing was, well, do we need a different time? Is this not a good time? I set the time up, but I literally did all that. Now, mind you, I'm also having an asthma attack while I'm texting you this. So I'm sitting here going,
gosh,
so I'm already, no, it's not your fault, but I'm already sitting here thinking crazy. And I'm having this like mini anxiety attack. And I'm going, I don't even know if I'm gonna be able to record because I got to make sure I can breathe. And anyways, it was just a lot. And so I overthink the text messages a lot, and it's no fault to you at all. It's really not. It's
I'm
just
not texting you ever again in life. Who's gonna call you?
No, you won't. Don't even lie.
If you don't answer the phone, you don't answer the phone.
No, don't even lie, because
I just texted you this morning. That's why I texted you so late, because I didn't think about it until like 3:33 this morning, and I was like, well, if she's asleep, she won't see it. But I was like, no, I don't know. It may wake her up. So I was like, I'll just wait until the morning.
No,
but then, the morning became, and then I forgot until I was in the middle. I actually went to church today, physically.
Okay. Oh,
and so I thought about it while I was in church. I was like, I need to know how to go about my afternoons. Like before I leave, let me just shoot this text message real quick. So I should have just texted you this morning, and hopefully,
because my phone is on do not disturb from like 10 to like 8 in the morning, 7 in the morning, something like that. Because I will, the beeps and stuff will wake me up or what have you. So I have it on do not disturb. The only way you're gonna get me is if you call me 2 times in a row. That's it.
Okay, that's that.
So you can text me.
That's worrisome.
Huh?
That's worse when somebody calls you one time and you don't answer, they call you right back. Like, I didn't want to talk to you the first time.
So why are you calling again? Okay, tell marketers head up, shut up, don't call me no more. Anyway, I didn't answer yesterday. What you think I'm gonna answer today for? But that's just my mindset, that I overthink stuff was my point, and the fact that when I'm going through something, like when I literally go through something, like my siblings have called me Eeyore, because when I go through it, I am Eeyore. Like I am Eeyore to the 10th degree. I will go down a rabbit hole and I will stay there in that rabbit hole for days. And so when you're like asking me how am I doing, I'm like, girl, you really don't want to know. You really, because I feel like,
but if I'm asking, why wouldn't I want to know?
But see, that's the thing. I have to get out of my mind and quit answering for people.
I get that a lot. So I wonder what vibes am I putting off?
It's not you, it's me. Like, honestly, like I'm not putting, because I do the same thing to the CFO. I do the same thing to the kids. I do the same thing to my own doggone daddy. And I'm, and I'm like, just ask.
He's known you your whole life.
Exactly. And I do it to everybody. I overthink what a person maybe, and I don't want to tell them either too much, or if I do tell them, I feel like, well, she always got something negative to say. Ain't nothing ever happening good. And I'm like, no, the friends that I have around me, when they ask me, they genuinely want to know what is going on. Or if I call and they pick up, they honestly want to hear me. Right. Same. If the thing is, it's like, I am not thinking that way about them when they call. Regardless if they're calling.
Then why do you impose that on yourself?
Because I don't know my self-worth. Honey, that's my problem. I don't know my self-worth. If I knew, I can't say the daggum thing.
You can't say it. That's patronizing. That's what they call it. That's privileged information. But I guess it's kind of like the whole notion of you talking about me being with the rose-colored glasses and being oblivious. Like, if that's how you feel about me, I can't change how you feel about me. Right. I find it funny, but it doesn't change the fact how I'm gonna proceed with my life. You know what I mean?
Right. It's that's what I'm saying. And I don't expect you to change how you talk to me just because I'm oversensitive or because I overthink stuff. I have to fix that within myself and understand that, okay, I can have those thoughts. Hence why I quit. I don't, like, back to the thing, don't go to church. Don't go to a physical church. Or even, because I sit there and be over analyzing stuff or overthinking. It's like, you know what? No, stop. Just
But I'm
stop.
using, I guess, how you were saying about me. I'm using, kind of giving you the same energy. Like, if your feels are sad feelings or your feelings, they're yours.
And that should be okay.
And it's okay to feel them, and it's okay to share them. You're right.
Yeah.
And if somebody has something to say about you feeling, you are like, okay, you got a couple of options. Either one, go give you a therapist. Number two, listen to me and help me process my feelings, or don't talk to me at all. Like, those are your 3 options.
Yeah. And see, the thing is setting those boundaries within myself to where, or just within a person can set boundaries so that they can get through that. So, like, I'm fine with being Eeyore and going down my rabbit holes. Like, I'm okay with that. It gives me a sense of knowing, because like I have to be in some kind of control, or I always have to find a solution or have an answer, and I have to get out of that. Well, it's okay to do it occasionally, but there has to be a boundary. There has to be like a stopping point where you say, okay, hey, get back out of that. Like, it's okay because it's part of who you are and that's how you deal with stuff. But at the same time, you don't have to stay there. Like, it's okay to be at peace and it's okay to stay there, but you still need to be at least aware of your surroundings. Like, yeah, you can be at peace, but still know that, hell is coming down outside.
Exactly.
And that's the thing. Like me, I'm more concerned. I'm more watching the hell that's going on around outside than I am with the fact that I should be at peace with it's not in my house, or it's not in my space. It's touching around my space, but I have this constant fear that, it's gonna get into my space. So I'm like Peter and walking on water. I'm too busy worrying about drowning. I ain't worried about the fact that I can walk. No.
You need to read about David.
Why I gotta read about David?
That would be a good person to read about the Bible.
Why?
Just for the perspective of.
Oh yeah, David was a sad boy too.
Going through a lot of stuff and pushing through adversity. Like, he would be a good person to study.
Yeah, he was. And Solomon was too. Because that's the one guy that I like. I like Solomon because he was wise and depressed and had everything and was still depressed.
Yeah.
But smart. Very smart.
But your intellect has nothing to do with mental health.
No, it has nothing, because you can be smart as all get out and still have about as much control over your mental thought process as a child in a candy store with their willpower.
And there are fools who are very confident in who they are in their foolishness.
Oh my gosh.
That is scary.
That girl, and I know we don't talk about politics, but that's the first thing that came to my mind was going, oh my gosh, the extremes.
Yeah, there are just fools who everything comes out of their mouth is wrong. Their ideas are wrong, and they're tainted. They don't have good intentions.
Yeah.
And they're just in such peace with being that way. And I would just be in such inner turmoil. Yeah, I could not operate that way. I have to operate in integrity.
And how do you sleep like that?
That's the scary part. That they have peace.
Yeah.
In the midst of all of their foolishness.
What was his name? Kevin Samuels. Rest in peace, because someone's dad and uncle's nephew died. But that guy was standing there strong and said,
I don't know who that is.
Okay. Short note, he was a guy who was a very egoistic, I'm saying that wrong, but male chauvinist pig type deal. Like, some of the stuff he said was truthful, but he said it wrong. So you know how you can say, yes, the sky is sky blue?
Mm-hmm.
But he would say, oh no, the sky is a shade of blue with a tint of white and and like just make you overthink stuff to the point it can make you angry. And so he would basically blame, and he would blame Black women. He would demean them, say they're ugly. You think you're a 10, but you're actually like a 2, and you want a man that's a 10 and has, a 7-figure salary, but you ain't bringing nothing to the table. Like, he would say stuff like that. And
what race was he?
Black.
Oh,
and that's
talk about Black women.
Yes. Now he did
He
talk
passed
about
away?
some black men too. He would talk about their genitalia. Well, how big is it?
Oh gosh. Okay.
How you gonna do this and then you only got this size? Like me, I do. Like he was very arrogant and just
Oh.
yeah, and he called himself a relationship coach on top of all that, or a relationship guru. And I'm like, dude's been like, and you if you looked at his background, I'm like, how? You know, but he was very hateful. And it's one of those people that's somebody else that came to mind when you was like, either they have foolish thoughts or lies that spit from their mouth. And regardless of this person, because beauty is in the eye of the beholder. A lot of people look at beauty a whole bunch of different ways. And for you to sit here and say that this woman is ugly or this man is whatever, like you're labeling people, that's just your opinion. But to sit there and put them on blast, even though these people willingly walked into this stuff and willingly talked to him and let him air out their laundry or whatever, still the fact that you could sit there and stand there 10 toes down and go, I'm right. I said what I said. And, I'm going to take it to my grave, basically. You either believe it or don't, but it's the truth. It's like, and you go to sleep at night knowing that you didn't talk dirt to someone for 2 hours straight. And it's like the mental health is an issue. And and you can't stop narcissists like that. You can't stop, arrogant people like that. Like they believe what they believe.
Yep.
But it just floored me because I listened to I couldn't even listen to the whole thing. I was just like, because he has several videos. And he had a huge following, men and women that agreed with him. And I'm going, this is crazy. And it's not supposed to make sense to us either. That's something else the Bible says. It's not supposed to make sense to us. It's supposed to be confusing. And that's the worst part, is the fact that it's supposed to be this way. And they walk around here every day. And I'm going, people have gotten shot for less. People have gotten killed 6 feet, cremated, burnt, missing, drowned, eaten alive for less.
Oh God. Oh God.
Okay, look here now. You know someone that got eaten alive. Not someone personally, but you don't watch the movie or two. Sitting over there. Oh my gosh, people are getting eaten alive. Like, come on now.
Oh, I'm gonna talk about that. That makes me sad. That's funny.
Oh God. But yeah, I just can't. I know, like I said, the first thing came to my mind was politics because that's prevalent. But then the next thing came to mind, it's like, there's people out here actually giving relationship. They're opening their mouth, using the platform like we are, just to spread all kinds of disinformation and hate and strife. And then turn around and take an Ambien and go to sleep.
Yeah. But I don't think that's, I don't know what that is. I was going to say, I don't think that's considered peace. But maybe that is their version of peace. Maybe. I don't consider that. I don't know.
I mean, a melatonin helped me get peaceful sometimes. But I also don't be cussing people out and calling them ugly all day either. So
right. Yeah, that's still, I don't know. But
anyways, this has been a 2-hour special. Over 2 hours special.
This is fun. I can't wait to hear how you edit this one.
And I got to do it today too.
So moral of the story. I forgot.
You can't forget moral of the story.
Oh, the moral of the story is eat what you want, even if it's a veggie stir-fried brown rice and a PB&J.
Wow, you went 10 minutes in. Okay.
The other moral of the story is live your life in the way that makes you happy but doesn't harm anyone else. And the third moral of the story from my perspective is get ready to be a Patreon member.
Yes, be ready. It's coming. It's coming soon to a Patreon.
So let me give you a quick clip. Right, I was going to say to a Patreon near you. But the other thing I forgot to tell you is that last week I took a picture, but I'm not going to send it because then I know it's going to hit Twitter. But I have to say, I had the best breakfast the other day. And I got up around 6 in the morning to make it, trying to eat before anybody got up in my house. And my husband happened to wake up early and caught me. I had a bowl of oatmeal with flax seeds, ground flax seeds. What else did I put on there? I see it. I just can't recall the name of it. Hemp seeds. So flax seed meal, hemp seeds, brown sugar, raisins, and pea milk. I know you don't like the milk peas. And a bowl of cheese puffs.
Ugh. All that fiber, and then you throw in styrofoam covered, artery clogged.
Well, they were simply, so they were like no GMOs, anything like that, organic.
Because all cheese puffs are is rice exploded, right? No, it's not rice.
Business. It's
what
corn.
It's corn. Okay, that's how I was like.
It's like a corn slurry, and they fry it, and it puffs really fast.
That's okay. So I'm like, it's. I know it's a plant. I just can't,
But again, mind your business. I just had to tell you that.
No, you're not minding my business. You sat there and had bowel regulating meal, and then turned around and said, "Let me clog that right back up."
Cheese puffs
with some cheese and corn slurry. Okay, that's just
wonderful. It was delicious.
Oh my gosh. But anyways, all right. If you guys want to hear what's happening on Patreon, you know what's going to happen. But anyway, that's the end of this episode. And we will catch y'all next week with hopefully a special guest.
Ooh, so excited.
And yeah, that's it. Anyways, okay. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Hey, did you enjoy that podcast? So did we. Check us out for our most recent updates on IG at City Country Chicks Podcast.